this week? Nobody not talk
We're
about
still
that.
hearing about it.
I don't know. I don't understand. Like it actually it increased must say 3 billion 2 days before the 5 billion drop, but everybody only talk about the 5 billion drop.
Yeah,
Weird.
it is interesting. I mean, but yeah, I mean, it was also followed by, "I'll never invest on the JC again." I hear people were saying that, but
Whether you guys have me
I,
lost. So what we talking about? How we reach the never invest and all
I'm
that.
no, I mean, I'm saying thing that you saying that, and then I hear people fully writing off the JC recently.
You know what? I think that's also going to continue. I think that's part of the change that we're going to keep seeing. Meaning, what it really is there's more interest around the thing now, and how
Mm-hmm.
media reports everything these days is A or B, black or white, right? Even if any issue that's not black or white, they might have to bring it down to that. So it's either, oh, this thing is great and everybody's winning the lotto, or oh, this thing is terrible and everybody's losing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
until greater greater nuance is brought to financial reporting in Jamaica, you're going to get you're going to get more of those things. You're going to get more of, oh my God, these losses. Oh my God, like everything is positioned in either fear or fear of missing out. So fear or
Mm,
fear.
ah, yes.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the only thing that's happening. So I look on it as a sign of something good, because the opposite is that they might just not be talking about it. Owen
Mm-hmm.
James Owen James read the market results every day for years on the news. Nobody gave a damn. Like, no,
Mm-hmm.
nobody, 90% of the people hearing it never understood. Nobody really cares. But no, 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 you have like here. No, you have people who care about it, people who want to know about it, people who are learning more. And I think that's going to keep happening. So as annoying as a 5 billion headline, 5 billion loss headlines are, um, I take them for the sign of what they indicate. That they indicate a growing, more robust
Interest.
financial space here, because it includes interest from the public. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the next step is just to the next step is the next step is just to push for greater quality, I guess, so that you get the nuance that we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
I
Push the
mean,
education hard.
education, those there. So, but again, the thing I keep seeing necessary more than anything else, just how this thing actually go, how this thing actually work, versus my feel say because this something. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, give me wait.
I mean, I like.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I was just thinking about our message for the whole time we've been doing these things, and just, out of out of reality behind it. So I do feel proud of that we, we focus a lot on, okay, what this thing really look like, how this thing actually
Yeah,
go,
how it actually work. Yeah, yeah,
versus
yeah.
shares are risky because they move up and down. I mean, that's a risk, but it's not the be all end all. That's not where the conversation ends.
Mm.
Yeah.
How about on the other side, though? Because we've gotten a lot of pushback, and these days sometimes I can't even figure out why or on what. We've gotten a lot of pushback
No, yes,
for
yes.
on things, including pushing for what you mean when you say that. You know, like
Uh-huh.
I know, and then I've seen in real life what happens. Like even when you say to people, you say something is good. What do you mean by good? Like you see the book shuffling and the anger and the like.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, no. I'm thinking about the response that you get if you push somebody who people lean on for something to explain what they mean. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how much of that is going to keep growing in the future, right? So
Yes.
like people like me running off a mouth and asking, "Whoa, what do you mean by that?" and explaining uncomfortable things. Not everybody not trying to do that. So I don't know how much of
Mm-hmm.
that. If I stop saying it, if I stop doing it tomorrow, I don't know how much of that sort of thing is going to continue. I'd love if it continued.
Oh yes. I'm not seeing much thing. I mean, if you had to wait to be the one to do it for it to be done, then don't expect to be, do not expect another door.
That's true. And the downside of that is if like this is a space where as people have learned from from the things we've seen in the past, people have a vested interest in having you do a certain thing with your money. They're gonna paint that thing a certain way for you, right?
Yep,
And
yep,
the
yep.
only way to
Yeah, if I say it's something, it never sound bad, right?
exactly, and the only way for you to know if it's the best thing for you is for you to be questioned. But in this space, questioning doesn't go well, very well. And if the answers aren't comfortable, it goes even worse. So I don't know how much that is going to increase in the future. That's a crazy thing because I think it puts the general retail investor at risk,
How do you,
especially the
unlike a
lighter.
US market, how do you think how do you think about, would you say they are there? They are where they are in a better place from the angle?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
What do you think drove that?
Uh, People ask questions and force them to answer. And America have a different culture. America have a different culture where in Jamaica, questions can be seen as offensive. In fact, very much often are seen as offensive. In America, they're not quite seen the same way across the board. And sorry to say, but there is greater financial literacy in America in certain regards. And so they developed a culture of, I don't know how you put it, they come from a culture of arguing things out, and then seeing who is right or wrong, right? And the market, this game that we play here in terms of the stock market, unlike many other games, you can always tell if there's a clear winner or loser, right? Did the thing happen in the way that was predicted to happen, right? And so because of that, you can almost always know who got it right and who got it wrong. America's market has come so far that everybody who had a question, the market has answered their question one way or another. So you know if you're right or you're wrong. And if you get it right, you make money. And so the voices who get it wrong again and again and again lose face because they're losing money.
I think you meant to understand that that's a big thing too. If you get it right, you make money. I
Mhm.
think we have, I mean, our investing space has a vested interest in pulling people away from the idea of making money here. Or those like, investments are a money maker, right? It only gets thrown in on the ad, but then the point of, okay, put my head on the line here to making this decision, you then start warning around, look into this thing for making money. Right? My IPO did really well. Yeah, man. The IPO did is really good. 300% up in a month. We are so good to you guys. Nice. And then you walk into the place and you ask, all right, I want 300%. And then you hear say, well, investments are not for that,
True,
So I think
true.
we've, I mean, you know how it is in Jamaica and making money. The moment you start talking about that, then boy, it's like a write off because it's almost a bad thing to want to make money. It's a bad thing to make money in certain ways, not every single way.
Mhm.
But then we kind of translate a large part of that over the shyness around being okay with doing that into investments, into the investing field. People just, I think that has changed a lot, but it's still there to a heavy degree. So I mean, it. To this day, you're still hearing. You should invest for that. For what? Money? Yeah.
Yeah.
One yardstick.
What? That's the problem too. One yardstick. It's not okay, but why shouldn't that person do that? What's the qualitative measure on whether that is an okay thing to do, or that or should they be actually looking to do that? It's just no, you shouldn't. And then in the same breath of acknowledging that this thing can be done, it's a good thing to do it because my IPO did it for you. Look at that. But the same people that say the IPO costing about IPO investor, these
Yeah.
flippers. But you
Flipper,
know what you
right?
were saying when the thing was on the roadshow. You know what you were saying when the client did ask about we can make how much we can make on the IPO. Yeah, man. It's a got triple. You're good.
Mm.
Boy.
I wonder about that for the road. Yeah, you get me. You get why it's a tricky thing, and I think it's something that's worth talking about because if we don't talk about it, nobody's going to talk about it. It's not even thought of as being important, but it is important. What do you think? This, I guess, is more to you than I.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing it that way, how do you think the industry response is going to be going forward to retail investors? Asking like that question that you asked. Not that I expect somebody to get told by their broker, oh, do this to make 300% in a year. I would expect,
When the
uh,
IPO come when they tell them that.
well, I don't have to tell them
I
that
used to
either.
in a bro, it's that I think after they said it don't work like that either. That in a year. I wasn't talking about no time because you know how them treat time. Time is infinite. It's okay. I realize that a big part of where I set myself up is how real I have to be with this. I could really be telling a client, say, yo, just invest for the long term. Anything goes, anything happens, and they will listen. And I see it, and I say that's crazy. I have to be. I give myself the hard work of saying, yo, okay, we're trying to make this by X time.
Hmm.
How this will work out. You know that conversation does not happen to the point where you start bringing that into it. That's the thing they warn about. They tell you, do not put time on your investments. I know you want to make money to go buy the house, but hush, you want to get there in 5 years, it might just take 10, and it's fine. It might just take 10 years, but there's no realistic conversation around it. You tell them, say, no, it's a 10-year goal, that a 10-year journey, no matter who comes in. Everything is the same, which is why the unit trust work, because your goal different from my goal, but we still have the same unit trust. There's no real constraint. There's no goal. There's no plan. There's no that kind of conversation does not happen. I mean, every now and then, so a client that knows that they need it, and they often know they need it because the thing is right in front of you. Okay, I know so this loan due in 3 years.
Hmm.
What's my plan? I kind of scared about paying it off, so in time, so I'm gonna start work on paying it off from here. So that's not most people. That's not most clients. Most clients have no real idea of their goals. I mean, I can tell you, I get a lot of, yo, okay, I asked the goal, and they start throwing things out that they weren't really investing for. It's just, but they don't know, okay, they know that they have this loan to pay and whatever. And they give themselves more work than they need to, whatever, right? But I know, so I could have gone around and said, okay, well, scrap that, rework. So I could have had that conversation at all. I can tell you very often. I could just go past, I could just walk in, what to buy, go on my business. And they have no reason why they're buying whatever. Because at the end of the day, that conversation is not an expectation to have it at heart. It's madness, brother.
Mm. You think the conversation industry to,
I think it has been changing. I think it must change.
you think it has been changing?
Yeah, I mean, I've found more people. I mean, mostly from our side, from people that actually say that the grower or they interact with our conversations in some which way.
Hmm.
So they have some expectations of what the investments think they they went somewhere before and they never really have any guidance. So they just were throwing money at something. And then now they come to, okay, realistically, what should happen here? I can't say that it's fully fixed from okay, I find that movie are coming with goals, but I can't tell that most people come with goals that are real or they really think about more than so. It's just all right, cool. Then what kind of 30% you can do for me every single year, or what kind of monthly goal I need to make my salary and quit my job. You get those,
Hmm.
but at least I start somewhere. Somewhere, okay, I understand there's some qualitative idea behind these investments. This thing must do this to make it work out and make sense for me.
All right, all right. So to me, that says that on the retail side, people are getting,
It's changed.
yeah, there
It's
is
changed.
change.
Yeah, man,
But
definitely.
from the industry
Mm-hmm.
side, are you seeing them meeting them where they are and also bringing them higher?
To a small degree, a very small change, but then I see it from a thing there. I mean, I've seen people that I know as retail investors go into the industry space.
Mm,
I mean, you see the 876 guys, some of them work in the industry now, but
true.
they started out, they were in school, starting this thing, doing this thing. They're retail investors before they took an industry approach to it. So they're marrying the two now,
True.
seeing where it makes sense from both sides. So I've seen that. But on a whole, no man, still a big fight back against the retail people, against any ideas from the retail side of the market. It's just, oh cool, I'm right, bro. Shut up here too. You never go to school for this.
All right, but what I guess you know what? Let me not discount that. Let me think more holistically. If I'm thinking about the whole overall industry, I've seen more. We see Mayberry. Shout out to Chris Berry. I see him in the group of people on Twitter there. I see Mayberry pushing more of their forums. You know, the forums
Mm-hmm.
around stocks and analysis and pushing it out on YouTube. Um,
But it's to the point where I kind of tired of bigging up maybe.
Oh,
I
me too.
kind of tired,
I
I
don't get
tired
a
of
check
talking
for it,
about
but
one
yeah,
guy like
yeah.
that.
But I know that's what I'm thinking. 'Cause they are part of the industry, right? So they are part. That's part. I
Mm-hmm.
think that will continue to happen. Um, I think there's also. I try and think of what other houses do. Barita
Why?
sends
I
out
know
like
VM has
that.
a
That
podcast. I know Shanice was on VM's podcast.
they have a podcast or they did an episode or something.
I don't know that podcast episode is Shanice, and I figure they have a podcast, right?
Okay,
I mean, I've seen that. Yeah, they have a podcast. They have more than one episode for that.
what did they do on the podcast?
Talk about investing and not just market
Really?
overall. Yeah, the VM investments thing. But I'm not really seeing. To be honest, I can't say that I've seen like a full conversation from all sides, or there's a full real conversation. I haven't watched most of the episodes. I did watch. I listened to Shanice though, and she was talking about her experience in JSC and just how things work out sometimes. But from an industry side, I know Barita does some stuff. They do the marketing campaigns every now and they put things together through that. But that's a sell. I don't know that it's thing. I can't say that it's much more than that. So
I don't know.
yeah.
I
Because I don't feel any talking to the market, talking to the very strongly outside of Mayberry, which is why I'll get the big up. But yeah, free ad.
free ad. But do you think that will continue? Do you think it will
Mayberry
spread? Not with Mayberry. 'Cause,
or
yeah.
spread. That's the thing there. I it's almost like the money from that. It's almost like the money that is only certain money is good enough, or only certain money matters in the house. So I don't see them really caring to speak to that side of speak to the market like that.
So
I don't find a general focus on the market actually.
that's the thing.
So
The point I had here was industry interest. I don't think that the industry is actually still interested in stocks. I think that enough noise has been made for it to now be seen as like a stop along the road show, you know? But
yeah, and they get IPOs also. So they get a nice fat pay. They get a nice fat paycheck out of it every now and
and there's
then.
prestige.
They'll feed that because it'll
Yeah.
be good money. But
But like
beyond that,
actual push back.
are they actually investing in this thing? Are they actually trying to grind? Are they approaching from a returns perspective? It doesn't feel that way very strongly. It's just we're here, we offer this, and that's why we talk about it certain ways. I'll do the long term because it's easier that way. You put this together, put it in unit trust, and sit in the market with that money. And the money keeps building up over time. Dividend space with, and it'll be very nice in 10 years, or it should be very nice in 10 years. But it doesn't feel like, yo, okay, what we can do to make money for this thing. It doesn't feel like in 10 years is intentional. It doesn't seem like it's targeted. It's just, well, we're here, so think some money behind these things. There's a big fund that can buy our products and whatever. And we get some fees off it, so we're interested in it growing. But
Yeah.
Mm.
Mayberry is definitely the only one talking about it in that way.
it's
Talking
why I'm
about
coming to
the
QB
market
by
in
eye
that way.
when say what they want about the MSCI index, whatever. But that shows me that they have a direction. What are they trying to do within any year? Make more money than that thing makes. Cool. So if I use that as a benchmark for me,
Mm.
then I can say to myself, all right, if I believe QWI can effectively meet the requirement. They can with their investments beat that MSCI index over the next 10 years, and I need my money, and I think MSCI index will do whatever, and I need my money to do that, then sure, QWI makes sense for me. So I can frame QWI within a goal. I think that's why I come in. That's why I come in more heavy than the thing that what am I buying when I buy a unit trust? what's the actual thing you're telling me should be happening for my money? You can't have a conversation.
You have a chart, the unit trust
Inflation, yeah.
data, yeah? The returns on them. It's, yeah.
I mean, they tell you. They tell you the best story they can give you often. Find 2 points in time when you make money and tell you they make money over X time.
Massage the numbers, because that's what that is.
Or the
Yeah,
size of
man.
the fund.
So over the last 3 years, between
Not the
and
last
it's
3
a star November
years. Not the
2011.
last 5.
Oh,
You got
November.
10. You
November.
got 10.
Last 3 years, November.
You have to catch the 2015, 2016 in it for them to make money.
No, man, it go up and down, you know. So you find you could just draw one line and say, all right, cool, it's up
You have to
nice.
catch it, the 2015.
Over this time, both things there. Yeah,
I'm
man.
telling you, you have to catch the 2015 red stripe move, the Azure move, the NG, in order to have the compound number look good.
You never said the 1 year one then, where for the last 2 months we haven't been saying anything about the 1 year performance. But this month when the stocks big up, I'm gonna talk about the 1 year performance over this 1 year.
Not,
October is November terrible. October was down, really down last year. So October is good this year.
I think you can tell a lot from a fund about how they manage the downtime, so they manage the losses.
When all else fails, you draw for the size of the fund.
Yeah, what's one thing I realize we're not hearing Danhai. Danhai, you muted, you know. We're not hearing you at all, Danhai. Oh, he's still going. Damn. Aline, are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you, Randy.
All right. Danhai still going, but he's not hearing me at all. We're not hearing you. He's going. I'm really interested in hearing what it is he's saying to.
Sorry, gentle folks. Good evening. My mic was pressed on by accident. I wasn't ready for the conversation as yet.
Oh wow, Aline, every week you come on back then. We still want to hear what you're saying, you know, but hold on 1 second for me, Aline. Then are you hearing me now?
Uh,
All right, Aline, while Danai sorts out his sound, you want to jump on and tell us what's up, how you doing?
yeah, man. Good evening. Good evening, all listeners and Randy and
Evening.
boy, I'm not bad enough. Mid year, basically average down between yesterday and today. That's the road ahead for me. Basically averaging down. I've done the fundamental work and the core work on the stocks that I have. I am satisfied with them. I'm trying to ignore the noise and whatever is happening with other stocks out there. I mean, if I can do a swing trade and make a few bucks, then I'm all for that. But my road ahead is basically 2023 is buying, averaging down on the stocks that I have because the bull must return to the market at some point. The bear can't rule forever.
So hold on. Your road ahead for all of 2023 is to average down, so the stocks you own not going to go up in value this year. That's what you're saying?
Yes, man, they will go up in value, and I will continue to buy because they're severely undervalued right
But
now.
that's averaging up. You say you're averaging down.
uh, Averaging down because I have two stocks that needs averaging down.
You have two stocks that are in a loss position currently.
Yeah, that are in a lost
Let me tell you
position
something.
right
I don't know
now.
if this will continue for the road ahead, but if you want to be good on the road ahead, don't lie to yourself about what is what. So like, don't call.
Oh no, man.
As in, don't call. Don't call how would I put it? Don't call something that's a loss anything else. Don't find a fancy term for it.
Yeah, man, loss is a
Yeah,
loss.
but then say if you're down on something, say you're down on it.
Yeah, man, I'm down on it. I can decide two things, I can or three things. I can continue to observe the
Mm-hmm.
losses, or I can average down, or I can sell the loss and move on to something else that I can actually do benefit from.
That's true.
So I am always keeping abreast of the market, and as I said, the idea of probably getting rid of our stuff and moving on,
Mm-hmm.
that is never out of the play.
Okay. What something that I think is not going to, well, maybe it'll change or increase as much as I would love if it didn't. I think it's just how we are as human
Mm-hmm.
beings is recency bias. That is always gonna be something that's affecting us on the market. Recency bias. Um,
Explain.
we speak about and we look at our portfolios all from the perspective of what is happening just right now. So, like you
Mm-hmm.
say, think about how you started the conversation just now. Why my move for my move for 2023 is averaging down, right? 'Cause for the last
Mm-hmm.
2 days, I've been averaging down.
Mm-hmm.
Your move, but saying that you're averaging down, like you, that's why I called you on it. You're talking about
Mm-hmm.
buying something that is at a price lower than the price that you bought it at.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
that's
yeah.
your plan for the entire year, then it means that your plan is that the things you own not going to go up in value.
Oh, I get you, I
It,
get
it
you.
doesn't make sense, but I think the only reason why you're saying it is because of recency
Mhm.
bias, because the thing
Oh.
that you're in is down right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want to get better at the market, you want to be
Uh-huh.
the better you are at removing the recency bias. Not that you shouldn't pay attention to what's happening recently at any given time, what's in
Mm-hmm.
front of you, but don't be caught only in the moment. And yeah,
Oh,
be
okay.
caught. My thing are to be caught up in your goal, whatever the actual goal is. So if your goal is
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks from now, whatever, which is a crazy goal, right? Then it might require paying attention to what's happening right now. But if your goal is truly 10 years from now, your retirement or something, um, then you can't get caught up in just what's happening now, or it shifts how you see it now. Then averaging down, it becomes a great thing, because I don't think that this thing is going to be at this price 10 years from now. I think it's going to be so much higher, and I'm probably going to be looking on this as a discount 10 years from now or 5 years from now, right? And conversely,
Mm.
don't look on a spike as the BR. Oh, it worked out. That's it. I've gotten it. If the price fly, as we love to say, and you've gotten that increase in value, and you've chosen not to sell, remember that it can always go back down, right?
Yeah, man. Unrealized gains.
Unrealized gains can be lost. Unrealized losses
Yeah.
can be recovered,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
none of them are permanent.
True.
Yeah,
I mean, the graph. If you look at the graph of each stocks in the market, they're not a straight line
exactly.
in either direction.
Sorry, exactly. Neither, you have to think that way. You have to always think that way. Avoid the recency bias. Uh, so the road ahead. Outside of you talking about what happened for you the last 2 weeks, I say I split the road ahead into two things. The more things change and the more
Mhm.
they stay the same. Along those two lines, what are some of the things that you think will change for the market for the road ahead as you see it? So the road ahead is as long as or as short as you see it. And what do you think might change?
I think as the market grows and it
Hmm.
expands, the investors are getting more knowledgeable about what is happening out there. Some of the old tricks that used to work not gonna work anymore.
I mean, when you say
Um,
tricks.
well, some of the old strategies that are employed by more mature investors in terms of how For me, what I see and what I experience in our group communities is that a lot of focus is um, placed on how the queue operates and how investor might try to utilize the queue to their advantage. I mean, persons are getting more educated and knowledgeable about the stock market, the do's and the don'ts. So it is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting going forward, I think. The whole IPO and how we used to see those huge numbers out of the blocks. I don't think that's going to be something that is going to continue
All right, pause on that one.
as
Hold on, pause on
investors.
that one. You don't huge numbers out of the blocks, meaning what?
The 300 and the 400% gains.
You don't think that you're gonna
Um,
see more IPOs in the future, giving us a 3 or 4? You mean like that early spike post listing?
that early spike.
Why
No,
not?
because the past 3 IPOs, persons have gotten burnt.
Recency bias. Persons
You
have
know,
gotten burnt.
mm,
Like what?
are the
Give me
expectations.
one example.
All right. So, for example, I saw this. I think it was on Twitter where this young miss was actually it was a video of what she expected from the stock market in terms of an IPO, and she was saying that boy, I'm not buying no more again because me they expect to get this amount and it never happened.
Well,
I mean, actually end up, you know, it better me to keep my money in the bank. I'm like, yeah, and that's how the thing work. Just put in $10 before you look. 3 weeks on the line, the $10 turn $100.
3 days you said a
So
while
it's
ago,
just
or
the
3 years?
expectation. 3 weeks,
3 weeks?
3 weeks. Yeah. So I'm saying it can get there, the 300 and the 400, but it's not like what we think it. It's not like what it used to or what used to happen before.
Which is
It's
what?
gonna take more patience. It's gonna take a lot of patience going forward when it comes to these IPO. It's gonna be interesting.
Why do you think that
So
though?
I'm actually
What's the basis for that?
based on what I'm hearing, I'm listening to other investors
No, yeah, but what's the
in terms
basis for
of
saying that you're not going to have that IPOs giving us the same kind of spike going forward?
yeah, listening to persons who are actually in the market. That's where I get the data from.
And who?
Hmm?
Who? Who? What kind of investors could tell you that? How could they know that?
Me remember the end of the day we are trading against ourselves,
I
in terms of
I know that, but
so
I'm trying.
I follow BrickTalk.
Mhm.
I listen to BrickTalk.
You don't hear that here.
There's learn, go,
Yeah, but you don't
invest.
hear that here.
Um,
You don't hear us saying that.
no, we don't hear you saying that, but others have spoken in other conversations. No,
Are they have a track record of consistently predicting the market accurately?
who me?
The people who you're talking about.
I am not sure.
So why you believe them for that?
I mean, we have what's saying in Jamaica, say boy, when I go say in here, go
That
say
is a
in. When
dangerous.
I have a lot of persons
That is
saying
a
the same
rubbish
thing.
statement. So somebody can
Yeah.
hold on. Let me get this straight. If I have a prediction, if every day I buy
Mm-hmm.
cash pot, and every day I tell you what the man going to play, and every day I buy it, and I let's say I do it for 15 days. And out of the 15 days, I never get it right once. Tomorrow, when I tell you what
Mm-hmm.
the man going to play, how likely, how much are you going to believe that what I'm saying is going to happen?
I'm not gonna believe you.
So why you believe somebody tell you say IPOs are going to stop
No,
because
it's not just it's not just one person. A general sentiment.
from who? From
I'm
people
not
who
gonna.
invest?
Yes.
Everybody has an opinion on investing. Not every opinion is worth listening to, right? What I mean by that is this. You're saying that as the market gets larger, more people, meaning more people coming into it, as more companies list on the market, investors are going to be less enthusiastic about buying shares in companies that are coming to market?
Investors will be a little bit more cautious.
Yeah, cool.
Cautious in how they operate and cautious in
It
expectation.
was the lack of caution that caused stocks to double and triple and quadruple close to IPO in the past.
Expectation.
Expectation don't set the share price. Was it the lack of caution that caused those stocks to double and triple and quadruple in the past?
Could be.
You know it's not.
Could be.
You know it's not.
So what is it then? What is it? What is it?
You think it was that?
I think we had a lot of, all right, this is where, because I have to think about myself and what happened during the Wigton launch.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of new investors came to the market. I was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good campaign, good advertisement, everything for Wigton. And we saw the number of new persons coming to the stock market, the numbers. And
how many people you think?
For me personally,
came into the market? You don't.
I don't remember the number. I don't remember the number.
How many people you think came into the market from Wigton?
I'm not gonna give you a ballpark because I don't remember the number.
I don't need to remember the number, but
if it was greater than 10,000, I don't know.
You said that a lot of people came into the market from Wigton, so I want.
Yeah.
Okay. I want it to be.
I would have to find the data. I would have to find the data. I promise you, I'll find the data.
Find the data. Don't worry about it. But I want to have an
idea
of how many people you think came in.
I don't remember the number.
Right, cool. No problem. So you say a lot of people I'm not gonna came in nonetheless.
Yeah, including myself, right? So invested in Wigton, got almost 100% return on my money. I'm like, yeah, IPO this man, easy money. Talking among some of my friends, them were just entered the market too. I think it was like 5 of us to make money. And I think the next one that came after that was Sagicor, Sagicor Select.
Select F.
Invested in that.
F.
Yeah, Sagicor Select Fund. Make some money after that too.
No man, Select
then
F, finance fund specifically.
Yeah. Came to market, make a little change, then went big on QWI investment.
You made a little change.
Wanted to get the big gain too.
You made a little change, you say, on Select F?
Yeah.
Meaning you made profit?
I think I made profit, yeah.
Okay.
Invested in QWI, came out of that. The stock price went up, but the greed, because as I said, almost 100% because I sold Wigton for 98 cents. Wanted it. Like, yeah, this is the ballpark, 100% and up every time. Mercy, have mercy. I learned the consequences of my actions. So all the funds that I had gained from Wigton and Select, I lost it.
Okay.
So hold on, give me a second, sir.
I think what Alain is saying is a common story that a lot of people may have had, meaning they came in through Wigton also. And not knocking that, like it's a real thing that I'm saying, so I'm not knocking it, but what I am saying is that I don't know that lack of knowledge is what caused stocks to double or triple or quadruple. Yeah, I don't know that that's what caused it. In fact, I don't think that that's what caused it to double or triple or quadruple. But I do agree with him that more investors now and going forward on the road ahead are going to have a lot more knowledge. I mean, everybody getting knowledge from what we're doing, including things like this, and we're building on top of it as we continue. We're building on top of it as the market goes along. But by itself, I'm not gonna say that it's the lack of knowledge that would cause it to double or triple or quadruple. I wouldn't say that at all. In fact, my expectation, that's not what causes it, because we've had stocks doubling and tripling up to 2022. Um, I
Exactly.
yeah, I don't see it being, I don't see that being it at all. Danhai, are you back?
Finally.
Ooh.
All right. I don't know where I left off, but I listened to Alain, and I want to really ask if, I mean, just on the how does your investment in QWI prove what you were saying?
I think I don't remember, he was saying that he got into keto and it didn't work out quite the
I
same way
know.
for him.
Yeah. So why does that then tie back into the lack of caution or strong enthusiasm around people buying and causing the triple as he sees it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure.
Hello. Sorry about that, gentlemen. I got some work to do because I'm still at work. So,
Pleasure. Me too.
and the listening end.
I no problem,
Hello.
Elaine. We understand.
All
We'll
right.
talk
Yeah, man,
another
that's cool.
time.
That's cool. Yeah, man. Best of luck. Thanks for calling.
So, Danai, in the interim, before Elaine came on, you
Featuring
were
a
going
variety
through
of
a
awesome
whole
styles and
Boy, I have no idea what I was talking about.
like you're talking for, like you're going on. Like I really wanted to hear what's this that you were talking about, because it seemed mad
Sorry,
interesting to
man,
me.
but I have to run. I have to run because I'm still at work.
All right,
So
Ali. Best of. Thanks for calling.
I'll
We
be in
talk
the
another
listening.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Perfect.
Yeah, Danai, do you remember anything about what you were saying?
No, I have no clue what I was talking about.
Oh
I got
Lord,
so frustrated just dealing with trying to get back on.
oh Lord.
Big up, Peter.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I was saying, however, I was saying to you that
Mm-hmm.
hold on, let me make sure I haven't just ruined the sound on YouTube. Yeah, I was saying that I split the road ahead into the more things change and the more things stay the same. And you and I were talking about how things are changed. In fact, oh yeah, I remember what we were talking about. We were speaking about the difference, whether or not you expect a difference from the industry side, industry interest in the
Mm-hmm.
industry interest in this side of the industry, meaning the stocks side of the industry, and in a real way where
Not just audit some IPOs, basically.
not lip service,
Yeah. I think
actually.
it would follow money, and if you can actually see the money, I would say it probably takes them to have a real look at what either the player that's already doing it or they see a niche somewhere that they can tap into. I don't see them happen. I don't see it happening. Just they haven't seen it for now. So I think it would take more than so for them to really see it and say, "Oh, okay, something is here that we can do and get some out of." I don't see it happening very easily. I don't think I don't see it happening at a start. I think they would have to see it what Mayberry doing, I guess, understand really and say, "Oh." But then to some degrees, they already think they do that. So I don't see it happening just off this. Okay. I can't also think that would cause them to stay away there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think it
funny
might just be
enough,
free food for good well.
yeah, funny enough, I don't think most houses see the stock market and invest in retail investing as worth the business.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they think of it like a loss leader. We really make money off the funds or off debt or off, you know, real estate or whatever else,
Mm-hmm.
trusting that sort of thing. Um, but the stocks thing, we just have it there because, you should have it there. But we don't
Mm-hmm.
actually care. We don't give a damn.
Or if feed
Um,
somewhere like here, the funds. So if I can do the stocks and I can do the funds, I make more money off of the funds then.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
I
then
don't
it,
actually care.
yeah. I,
Yeah. So if I can do one thing in two different ways, and one of the way works better for the people who are retail investors, and the other way might be easier for me or more convenient for me, or I'm gonna go the other way.
mm-hmm.
And I'm still, because I'm paying lip service to you, I'm gonna
Thought
speak
it
to you as
told,
retail
yep.
investors. Yeah, man, I'm gonna do the road show with you. but I don't actually care whether or not you make money. You don't matter to me, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, very few. That's the impression I get, and I don't think I agree with you that like many things, you need the incentive, you need it to matter in a money way, and I don't think that to many other financial institutions, the money from the stock market locally matters to them like that. They don't see it, but
I mean, they
I think
say.
that that may
They don't
change.
say. Yeah.
I think that that might change. I think that that may change in the years to come
Yeah.
as we get more decentralized, as we get say smaller houses. If you get a house that all they care about is the stock market, or like that's what they
Hmm.
care about mostly.
Yeah. If you see our next man make money first, they find out they
Yeah.
can do it too.
Um, I could see a house caring about managing its funds and being active with its funds. Like Mayberry does it with MJE, but you don't have. I don't really see anybody else talking about their funds outside of
Hmm.
like, when they'll one-off make some money. I remember we were joking near the end of 2019 that everybody remember that them have a fund again
Hmm.
because they're advertising their funds. And then COVID hit 2020 and nobody shows their fund return percentage again. But I think it soon come back with Barita doing that little the reval stuff. I think with their real estate fund. But again, that even that is not necessarily repeatable in quite
Hmm.
the same way, right? So I don't think you're going to see a lot of advertising around funds from the perspective of returns. I don't, and you'll know that as a retail investor, you'll know that you are being spoken to when the ad speaks to returns in a realistic way, not in a if you had put in more than 100 million over the
Hmm.
last 15.6 years, then you would have gotten, then you could make $1 million in dividends this year, right? It's, I think, a little bit more realism in terms of the conversation is
Hmm.
needed. And I haven't seen that happening yet, but I'm hoping we'll get there in the years to come, though. How about the more things stay the same, though? Uh, what do you think are some of the things that will stay the same going forward? Or should
Hmm.
stay the same going forward.
Hmm. The things that I take for granted.
Like, oh,
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, well, I'm thinking, I'm saying the things, it's the things I probably take for granted. Just saying, it's not something I think about often. Oh, yeah, man, this should stay. You get me?
hmm
Or maybe I do, but it's not from, maybe from a different angle. So the angle I'm thinking of, no. Hmm.
I thought it was great when you said the things we take for granted. It's probably something that, it's probably one of those things that we
That's
won't
probably
mind.
that's probably I'm taking for granted. So I can't think of it.
We won't respect it until we lose it, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
that's the problem. So I
Yeah.
can't really, I can't, I don't know, I don't know what I take for granted. If I take for granted, I think then that's a problem. Hmm. So I'm
A new
thinking about
thing,
it now.
a
So
kind of
what
new
I
thing
heard,
that I hope stays the
oh,
same.
that's Phil.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Phil.
That access to senior JCSD accounts directly in the JCSD.
But I don't think that's going away. I mean, I would find
Okay.
that crazy for that to go away, right? So I kind of, I also thought I was going to say J Trader and just the electronic assisted trading was like, yeah, I think of that as something sensible to take away. So I have to
I don't
think
think
of
that.
something that I would think of something that would be possible to take away, and from some angle, I think that somebody think like margin, like saying, oh, yo, suppose a house is going on and say, yo, no more margin, or suppose JSC say
Mm.
we're not going to do margin, we're not going to allow whatever. Then that doesn't make no sense, right? So I wouldn't see why they would do that. So
I get you.
But you always have to be on guard for things just because it don't make sense. I remember the
oh, I
feeling
know what
when
I want to say. I know what I want to
what's
say.
it?
No, I don't think that no cap gain stocks.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that stays the same.
Yeah.
100%. I hope that's it. That is something that we take for granted.
Mm.
Yeah, that is something that we really take for granted.
But then
Uh,
the thing is, we don't. I mean, we don't. So that's why we think of it as something to lose. You get me? In
mhm.
the moment, no. So it's something we thought about and said, you know, we're lucky to have this, we're happy to have this, and we never want to see another thing.
I think it's crazy to say that we don't have a cap gains tax when it's a transaction, so we have GCT.
No,
That's
there's no
GCT.
GCT.
Yeah, I know, but in order to sell it, you have to sell it, and to
Yeah,
sell
but
it,
there's no
you have to pay that.
GCT on your. Sorry, that's Lopo. Hi, Lopo. There's no GCT on your gains. There's
And the
GCT
gains
on the broker
and the
fees and the
broker fees, yeah.
JSC's fees, but there's no GCT on your gains.
That's a good enough distinction for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no man. There's no GCT on your gains. And your gains are your gains. We're cap gains free in Jamaica.
Mhm.
And may it stay so forever.
Imagine you pay. Imagine you have to calculate. On top of your paycheck, you have to calculating your PA. You're calculating your thing there, your taxes, your income taxes, and your gains,
Yeah.
and I file them and I pay it out. Terrible day.
Yeah.
Rough.
And then that does bring it. That does where we are in the market. So you don't want to see that so early at all. But you get me? That's going to say. That's going to be another line for people to just be not okay with going further. Okay, I'm taxed on this. Me nah bother. The next money we make and have a quick pay up. Me nah bother. I can see that line being taken. Or it just less. Is that less money you can make from this thing?
Mm.
Nah.
You know, I found interesting. I thought about it before. I thought it before. I've never ever said it before. Just me just thinking out those other things like customers. I've said before, like somebody would be investing, say 200,000. I don't know how much money they would want to make on it, right?
Hmm.
And say they get around to 30, there's a 50%. And when you point out 50%, it's 100,000. You know the response is, well, we make that, that's money for me to make. You get me? They start thinking about how much money this money make, not considering that this money is money already made. So this is it. It's the money already made making more. They don't think about that.
Clear it up.
It's
So if I have 100 grand,
if you have 100, if you say your salary is 100 grand,
hmm
or you hustle every month and you can make 100 grand outside, your business make 100 grand a month. You
hmm
know, and you save 200 outside for the year. And they go invest now. For you to make 50% on that money, that would make 100 grand. So you no longer think of 100 grand as a lot of money because every month you get 100 grand anyway. So then you start thinking making 100 grand from investments not worth it. The extra 100 grand not worth it because it's not a lot of money to me in my head.
even though
I've
it's
seen that
fifty
before.
percent, even though it's
Even
50%.
50%, even though it's the money they're investing is money they already made. You get me? So this will be an extra 100 grand. They're not. They don't want to think about it like that.
I think people think that naturally for them
Yeah.
in our
Yes.
conversation,
I
right?
can tell you that happens more often than I expected. So in my mind, they don't make this money already. It's just is your money making extra money, right?
Hmm.
They never. Yeah. Nah. They
I
don't think
think
about
That's
that.
what you just explained is a real long term perspective
Oh
to
yeah, I mean, yeah,
actually.
you make your money grow. I mean, yeah, so 50%. If you make 100 grand, 100 grand don't matter to you. Yeah, sure. But you know you have 300, and in that 300 making another 50. You get me? So it will grow. That's where compounding comes in. That's where investing for the long term comes in. Because you put in more money behind this thing. The more money you make more money. This money growing makes you more money. But just at the start, to get somebody into it, I find that no, they don't want. They don't. I've seen that before. Thus, the start looks too small for them.
so I don't know. That's very much a financial literacy thing.
I know.
Come everymickle.com/grow to learn how to get better at that, to understand that better. But I find that weird.
Me too. But then
I
I
think
think
what it is that people don't know how difficult it is to
not even
make
that
even
alone.
five
Not even,
percent
but then don't think you
deliberately.
move away from the percentage. That's not what I'm thinking about at all.
But that's what.
They're not thinking about the money them have in hand growing. They're thinking about it as what we can do for me. It's always
Just the
the same idea them
absolute
come to
money.
with when them say, already I want money monthly. It's the same idea them come into. They're trying to do this income, do this thing where it becomes it match or do better than your job kind of thing.
But,
It must change the money I get immediately. It must be that level of money for me. That much
but
more. Either make enough one time or make enough consistently.
it's not magic.
Otherwise, it don't make no sense.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of people just don't get that part. The moving pass up, the moving where it can be where yo just doing that over and over gets it to the point of you start see that magic where the money I'm making from the market don't make sense for the life I have. Like I'm making way more money on this market thing than what I think that you can build a portfolio to that point, but it have to start with the. If I'm starting from a save little bit, then think that
Mhm.
which is why I think it comes down. Which I often hear the I want to save X amount of money before I start invest because the X amount of money is enough money to me. So I can't put this I can't get I want 50% on 100 grand. That's 50 grand. But if I save up $1 million, I can make 50% on it and it start making sense to me in my head. They don't get that you get to the 1 million easier if you make money on the smaller money. The more I put the money down and make the money they invest, make them a bigger amount.
But that is
Yeah.
why I have a problem with a lot of the flippant kind of talking in certain spaces about investment from even people who, are in positions to give advice. Like that type of breakdown is what I think we need to continue to expand on because I mean I empathize where people coming from. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of them just coming from me know what life is right now. So if me look at life, I say even if I make the next 100 grand, everything when me I have I beat me up all over the place. Them not take the perspective say one, you're trying to do something, you're trying to learn how to do something repeatedly. You're trying to understand a market and understand your skill sets to do something over and over again that will affect your money over and over again. So like I don't like the flippant. Oh, just put in stock and leave it for much. I hate that. Like if I start here, say that is the perspective that just seem very disrespectful to a lot of people's place where them are come from.
I think it's a big part that thing you said. It you realize how quickly that ties into. I mean, the thing I said and the thing you said, how quickly it ties into. Remember that conversation around poor people investing, low income earners investing, and we get
And
it.
how
Or
and
why
how
it's
everybody willing to tell you say poor people are the money, like immediately willing to tell you what poor people can or can't do.
yeah,
Everybody on Twitter
ex-
is a poor people expert and can
yeah.
determine for
And
them.
nobody knows to be poor. Eh? It is interesting, but that I think that's where that comes from. Um, just the reality of that. Why a poor person should invest? Why somebody with lower income should invest is because now you give yourself another way to earn, and you can you have a point where your income where again where your income is not dependent on the work you do day to day on your current skill set. It's I mean
Right.
the current skill set meaning your whatever you sell to your boss. It's not dependent on that. You have a point where you can control some new income coming into your life, X, Y, Z. And that's why I'm to the poor person because then, all right, cool. If I can put away a little bit, then a little bit can become much more, and a little bit can work and just continue becoming much more while I go about my life in my regular other day, whatever. I mean, we always said where we started, right? It wasn't from no. We weren't talking $1 million. It wasn't $1 million conversation when we started for us. But that's where that matters. And most people
So
can't. It's the same when you have that conversation and then somebody asks you, you're really and truly cool, but it don't make sense. I put up my money because XYZ and I don't really get much on it because I don't have much money to invest. The response should really be okay, but over XYZ time. You realize that they forget them long-term conversation when they should actually have it, right? Like, all right, cool. This not gonna help you change your standard of living overnight, but give yourself some time. This thing can actually get you there
and the truth is it changes your standard of living a lot quicker than you
quicker.
may yeah.
And then it's doing this versus not doing this. You are just better off, right? Like okay, cool. Putting away money in a way that the money can grow versus not.
Mm.
Bro, trust me.
And
And
it's not it wasn't a conversation. It shouldn't have been a conversation of should poor people invest. I mean, yes, it's an issue of whether or not that person can invest. If they can, then they should, right? I mean, and can don't mean invest a nice tidy sum that you feel happy about. It's okay, I'm here in life. This is what I can afford to invest. So let me start. I don't mean it don't mean of course everything more limited in certain things, but in other ways you know in a lot more ways than you don't. You have an equal playing field to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Because the same main event movement you get when you see carnival or whatever, the same main event movement will happen whether you have 1 million, 2 million, or 10 grand or $100. You invest what matters. The money that you have is what matters to you, not the money you feel sound like enough or not. If you only have X amount, then guess what? That's the level. That's a line you're drawing in what you can do. You have to go do it. There's nothing else you can. There's no world for you to get up and just be richer for the purpose of investing. It's either you do or you don't.
But that is why the guided line on where you're getting information from and your advice from matters, because if you straddle on the line where people just say, "Oh, just invest where you can afford to lose," then that is, first of all, even from
nobody can afford to lose. That's the truth.
exactly, nobody can afford to lose, and that also is a mental part of what you're doing. Like if I was to take money that I earn from my day job to put on for buy a bag of things for resell, what I can't afford to lose that. Like that's
exactly. And the next thing they talk about the same conversation that people talking about. Tell them get a side hustle. You know, work. So I mean, I mean, then if you call it a side hustle, then what is just another way to make money? What do you call this? That is an investment. That side hustle, unless it was free.
right.
And if you're saying that they can then get a side hustle to make more money, then you're also saying that they can increase their capacity to invest.
And I'm saying that also the point of doing this with money that you care about matters. Like you need to, you need to behave
because
like you
I have
care.
this exactly. I have this money here, and I think too quickly go into certain conversation. We start struggling the extremes of a situation, not really talking about the reality of the people you're talking about. As Randy said, everybody on Twitter rich. Everybody on Twitter talk. Poor people advocate, but it seems that they never met a poor person in their life.
My personal conversations with poor people is that this make a whole heap of sense. Like I don't actually have real conversation with people who are like, yeah, them disenfranchised or whatever. And yeah, they probably want to start and help because that's what poor people need. But at the same time, they don't want us on a handout. They want a solution. You see me? Like you can't just, if you're gonna have a real like edifying conversation with somebody who not no money right now in a one bad space right now, they want a solution. It not goes just solve with the handout.
Because the handout up at one time.
Exactly. And then they just come with the handout again. And then when it stop come, then zero problem. So yeah. We have to talk more sensible. And I like that perspective from the jump. People will just have them problem and then put it, but I say no. Put the discipline behind it, and you see what that going to change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, trust me, man. I think that thing ties into a lot of the other mindsets I have around investing. Or the same thing just in different clothes. Same for invest. The same, the money. It don't make sense unless I feel like I'm banking. If the level of money that to me is really rich is 1 million USD, I need to invest money that can make me 1 million USD from one move. I'm not gonna build up to the 1 million USD. I must, I'm not gonna stop until I save and get there. It don't make sense to invest the money in the market. Nothing. Because the money I'm getting from this thing must feel like I'm banking.
The funny thing is, those people who want that have never really thought about what, let's say making a million actually looks like in practice.
That's the problem.
Yeah. And the second you start, you actually start seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
People get lost on the road of poor people, and I've gotten it. People ask me, well, what kind of money you can make? I put in 50 grand, what kind of money you can make? I said, well, let's say if you had put 50 grand in whatever, and it had by now it be up. Let's say it's up 30%, right? That's what 15 grand extra. 15 grand. I don't know money
I don't
that.
money that. We have 50 grand.
Exactly, and exactly.
Like, that's
That's
a lot of money
30% more.
because what you have is less than the amount that you have had. Why invest in 50 grand is because you can afford. So if you're going to tell me invest in 50 grand, then you can't come to me with 50 grand on money. And if that's the case, then 15 grand, you can't tell me 15 grand on no money if you have 50 grand. It's too much of that number for you to get up and decide. Like, you get me? Like, no.
Anytime somebody tell me say something is not a money that, I ask them for it.
Yep. Oh,
Right.
yeah,
15
have it.
grand and a money
Most.
that. All right, give me 15 grand. No. But all of a sudden, yeah. So well, I don't know if that will change. But I hope it changes. I hope people realize and actually start. I think maybe what can help is if people remember like what the JC started off, like one of the JC's mandates is to provide better saving returns, meaning it's really investment. Saving is just investing. So better returns on your money, right? So if you compare the JSC, if you
A
compare
bank
the
account.
JSC to what you get in a savings account, then yeah, it's miles apart, right? I think you're getting what now, 0.4%, a little over 0.4% if you have your money for 1 year in a savings account. So if you compare that to even one of the smallest yields in dividend yields from last year, you're beating a savings account handily. You put the prospect of cap gains on top of that, then you actually start looking at it. And if you want to play the cap gains game, then that you can look into, right? Then you can get more serious about. And that actually, to bring it back, is actually one of the things that I think, and I think will have it understay the same. So it's a kind of gain, right? But I was thinking about something that we've always mentioned, Danhai, the dividend investing. Sorry, very few people I have met or interacted with very few true dividend investors, meaning you're actually doing a practical strategy for dividend investment.
And you actually
And
want a
it
dividend. You actually calculate the dividend. You actually calculate what makes
exactly
sense for you.
very
Versus
few.
anything them pay out and meet it that time. I go boast about it when it's all night now.
It, I shudder to think if you know how many experts I've spoken to, and then tell me about XYZ dividend them love. Oh, this dividend is good. Carreras, they pay great dividends.
I want you out.
And I say, what's the yield?
Mm-hmm.
Me no know. Never look it up once yet. But they'll tell you that they're a dividend investor. Just because you get a dividend don't mean you're that's me gatekeeping. Let me not gatekeep. A deliberate dividend investor, I think we'll start seeing deliberate practical dividend investor strategies going forward. I think
I mean, I've
I'm
been working with
hoping.
some people that I think that it often then tends on into other issues, whatever. But
And I'm not saying, let me just be clear, I'm not saying that there is nobody who does it. I'm saying not many people actually practically do it and do it in a real way, not just own the shares and I get the dividends. But I
I
bought
bought for
the
this.
I bought this thing specifically to get this dividend, and I predicted this dividend way ahead of time in order to benefit from it. Like what that would look like is,
Buying SVL way back.
oh, that's so good. I was going to say something else, but I don't want I don't want to give it nothing. That's cool. Yeah, like buying SV, like that conversation that we had a couple months back with Berry and Simpson and et al. And team on here where they're talking about buying SVL way back then, and Paul saying that Chris told him to buy SVL back then. No, if at that point in time, 2017, 2018, 2019, if you will, if you want to go back that far, if part of the thinking in buying it was okay, I want to be able to get 5%, or let's say 5% as a dividend yield every time this dividend is paid out. And if the dividend yield, if the dividend policy is probably gonna be XYZ, and I'm going to be putting this amount of money in there, and then I'm looking at the industry to see how it's going to grow, which means that this company is going to make X amount of profits and the profit level growth is going to be this, then the dividend on that level of growth would be this. And so I have to make this move now for 4 years from now, or 5 years from now, or 8 years from now. I don't hear a lot of people coming with that deliberately. And I say that because a lot of the things that are available now, IPOs especially, I rarely hear anybody speaking about them and speaking to them from the perspective of what the
Of
dividend
dividends.
is likely
Yeah.
to be
Yep.
in a real way. Very, very rare. And I make sure not to say it because I want to see if anybody says it to me without prompting. And it's rarely ever said. Sometimes somebody will say it, the most I hear it is like, the usual, I buy it, and if it don't do what I expected, it suddenly becomes for the long term.
Yep.
And then they'll also tack on to that. And I get the dividends and thing too. And oftentimes I test them to see if they're serious. I go, oh, so like what? What kind of dividend? No, I don't know, but you get some dividend too. That's not deliberate dividend investing. I'm hoping that there'll be a lot more deliberate dividend investors going forward. Because also, that is actually where the real benefit of the research shows, like fundamentals research. It is, I won't say it's overkill, but it is so effective for dividend prediction. Yeah. So like when I'm doing research, one of the reasons I don't really care about dividends, but the research that I do around a company when I'm looking to buy or sell or whatever, when I'm just researching any company on the market, that research, one of the side effects of it is being able to predict what the dividend growth is very likely to look like, because you're looking at the whole industry, and you're looking on how you look at the whole industry, you're looking at what's likely to happen to the industry that the company is in, you're looking at how the company is likely to react to that, and then what that means in terms of profits for the company, and then the company paying out some of those profits as a dividend. And it's a lonely conversation. Very few people have that conversation. Very, very few. And then also very, very few of them, you can tell, people talk about the things that matter to them. Very rarely do you ever hear anybody talking about like what you get from this dividend. I remember talking to Danhai about, I keep always bring it up. I swear to God, Chris Berry probably up there, I was talking to her about what MJE's cash flow looks like as a result of SVL's dividend compared to what the initial cost to invest in it must have been. At Grow, I use the example of Leachin's, back when NCB was paying dividends, what Leachin paid for NCB in 03 or 02, or back when he bought in the early 2000s when he bought it, compared to what the dividend payout was when they were leaching $1 a quarter back a couple of years back. What that must have been looking like. Like that sort of conversation is not a very popular one. Or maybe it is, and maybe I just never hear it. But I've listened for it. And it's rare. And I'm hoping that it gets less rare. I'm hoping that more people talk about it. Because the opportunity, like the sweet dividends of 10 years from now are being made right now. But they don't look that way. They look like, why is this not going up?
Brother.
Block your blessings. Stop block your pension blessings.
If you serious, if you say you want way access, if you actually want what you say you want, then you should not be vexed about that stock price not moving. Or you can get it cheap for still. You can still get it cheap. Wait, you can still get it cheap. Don't be upset.
Exactly.
Oh, it's falling. Oh my word.
I think that needs. No, go on.
Sorry, no, I'll just continue. What are you saying, no?
No, I was saying what I love about what happens here in this space and what we try to do is that you really have to have sensible understanding in the market to do that, because I think you have to evaluate, even if you're looking at a current dividend yield to future dividend yield to all of that, the real benefit of what you're doing as an owner in shares, as being somebody who invests in securities, all types of securities, and the business of making money from money. And I just don't feel like you have to give yourself the considerations as to why you're going to do this versus the that. Why you're going to do this versus a dividend play like what Randy just explained versus a bond. and for R versus whatever, what we call that again, repurchase agreement, or all of the things that are around, and why you're going to do it, and really have a nuanced conversation. And part of that nuanced conversation in stocks is to be able to predict the cap movement on the ownership of the shares, which a lot of people don't like to act like they have any way of doing. So if you marry that with what you can expect from our dividend prediction plus other factors that you can see in the market in terms of how a company can change, and things that actually matter material to the company and companies and market. It requires us to really know the things and talk like we're coming from some space of basis and to bounce them around. So I hope we just keep doing this, because I hope this is where the conversation keeps growing
Well,
here and outside.
well, I'll tell you this from the retail side. If you want those things to happen, like we will have to do it. Nobody else is going to do it. A
Yeah.
broker is not going to have a general conversation about the industry. Finance carry feelings. People attach their hearts to things that them work at.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not like you wouldn't expect JMB to have a real conversation about
Buyback.
IPCL.
Oh yes, okay, even
Yeah,
better.
they're not gonna have a real conversation about it. You know that no matter what, they're not going to. You're not going to. It's very rare that you hear anything even slightly strong, which is what the industry needs, by the way. Think
No,
about
but
it. Imagine if
wait, it's fun that you're saying that they're not going to have conversation about things when most of this is advising us. If you got go talk about something, that's you're removing that part of the advice that you're mandated to give. So that's what's wild.
true, but they've gotten away with it for a long time. So unless unless forced to change, they won't. But yeah, I would say don't expect it. It's rare. I heard on, I won't say their name. So I heard on a certain brokers forum, I think it was this week, they were talking, they were speaking strongly against like some companies in the market, some stocks in the market, right? And they're saying the name of the stock. That's a rare thing.
Mm-hmm.
The most
Oh
you
yeah, yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
is
It was that
is
one. It was that one. Don't call a name. That's a thing
exactly, you get
apparently in the industry.
sus and rumor column sort of talking and convoluted talk nobody don't want to say. It's rare. You're not going to get like me saying, sorry about that. You're not going to get like me if I'm wondering about something. I'm gonna say, I,
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to know when iCreate is going to actually do the rights issue. I'll say that. Very few people are going to actually say that. Well, maybe not iCreate. Everybody likes the beat on iCreate
Oh
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yes, iCreate.
It's interesting when they speak, when they choose to speak, right? When something is, when a body is okay to speak about, or even a good, it's always
Mhm.
interesting. You can tell me how much we space NCB is great,
Yeah,
but stop talking when somebody else turn.
yeah. Like nobody will talk about like PJX's loss
Uh-huh.
last year, right? That's just won't be mentioned. And I don't think as retail investors you should expect that conversation. I think that conversation will have to be had elsewhere until it becomes popular enough and the brokers then remember or realize that it's their job to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think that's going to happen in the road ahead, but I don't think it's happening next year
Me neither.
or the year after. Yeah, somebody
It has to be
other than
following the money,
Mayday
bro. It
has
has to
to,
be. I can make money from this thing, really, and then the
I
thing
know
you
that
said
that's
earlier, a smaller house might kickstart it because then more competition in that ring. People start seeing that okay, there's actually a path here more than so, and the path I might even see ways I can innovate on that path. So that might
mhm.
be that might be where I see them step in. Just so,
Yeah,
all the
the,
best,
the
my
space
friend.
still ripe for innovation. Thumb Sings. I've heard from you in a long, long time. How are you, Thumb Sings? Can you hear us? You're muted, by the way, Thumb Sings. You have to unmute.
Good night, Randy.
Good
Night,
night,
night.
Thompsons.
Oh,
Good night, Danhai.
How are you?
Um, I'm very well. Thank you for asking. You guys are having a real good conversation tonight. I've been waiting for somebody to have this conversation about dividend investing because I've been trying to build a dividend portfolio from uh, maybe 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was a
But
great time to build a dividend portfolio for now.
Indeed.
you're quite right about that. But when you look, sometimes when you look at your portfolio, like the value of your portfolio, and you look at the dividends that you get for the year,
Hmm.
sometimes you're not encouraged by it for sure, because over the years, well, my dividends, like I've been building on them, I've been reinvesting, and that is one of the things too that I would like to see um, from brokers in Jamaica, where you can have um, a good dividend reinvesting policy or program or something like that. So you don't need to be collecting these little cents every time to put in your account so that you can buy dividends. I think that we need to arrange a proper drip program where you can just have your dividends reinvested for you.
I agree. I've always wondered
Um,
why it's not done.
right.
Um,
This is one of the things I've been looking forward to. I don't know which broker is going to take it on first. And I'm thinking that whomever takes it on first um, is definitely going to be at an advantage. I would definitely move some of my money into this brokerage house if you are going to make it so easy for me to reinvest my dividends and not just pay it out. Well, I used to get checks back in the day, but I don't get checks anymore because you know that you can sign up and so on for your
Mandate.
you can
dividends.
get a
Right.
dividend mandate, yeah. And I should just
Hmm.
point out to everybody that you can set that up for yourself on the JCSD's portal. I'll
Yeah.
tweet that out in the space for everybody listening.
Right. Because I've signed up my mandates. I
Hmm.
know. So what I do is that I now get all my dividends into one account. Even though I have different brokerage accounts, I do arrange it so that I get all my dividends in just this one account, and then I will transfer it back to the investment house for it to be for well, so that I can buy more shares. And I think that is a lot of work, believe me.
It is. So
Um,
why don't you put the why don't you put your brokerage account? Why don't you put it on the mandate so that the dividends will go directly to your brokerage account?
well, I think I've tried that before, but well, for one, it's not very reliable, and two, it doesn't give me the opportunity to track because sometimes it goes to these houses and you don't even know that it goes to these houses. You don't know what you get.
That's true. Big up
And
Yeah.
mymoneyja.com. If you put your portfolio in
right,
mymoneyja, we'll track your dividends for you.
well, that is
So
true. But
yeah,
but sometimes you don't have. Sometimes you get cents. When I say cents, I mean like
I could have
three
half a
thousand, four
cent when you get
thousand.
something. MyMoneyJA will keep track of it. It could be 10 years ago. We'll keep track of it.
Right. And one of the
Yeah.
things too is that I have different brokerage accounts, and it would be good to have something like that, you know. B- But well, but for now, I try to arrange it as best as I can because I'm not in Jamaica, so it's kind of
I
it's a
understand. It
little
can
more
be a bit
difficult for me
difficult.
to arrange it like that. So for now, I have sent all my dividends to this one account, and then I
Mm-hmm.
will transfer it back to this brokerage house.
And then you buy.
Right, and then I buy. No,
Yeah.
I've been building this dividend account for or portfolio for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
And well, let me say for this year, I have two accounts, but I have two portfolios. I have one that I call my dividend portfolio, and I have one that I call my swing trade portfolio. My
Okay.
swing trade portfolio is down, and I'm not afraid to say, like it is down almost 20%. I am so mad.
Okay.
But my dividend portfolio, you know, and it is proven that if you hold these instruments for a longer period, then you do get yourself into a better position. And for now, my my dividend portfolio is actually in the green, and my
Hmm.
swing trade is actually way in the red, way in the red. you know.
Do they balance each
So
other out? When you look at the total amount of money, you have more money than you started with or less? When you look at both of them together.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't balance out. It doesn't balance out at all.
Mm.
Well, I do well for my dividend portfolio. I am in green, but I'm not way in the green. Like I'm just a little way over.
How are the dividends?
Go
Are
again?
you counting the dividends?
How are the dividends? Are the dividends still are the
No.
dividends coming to the amount that you want them to at
So
this time?
right now it's not bad. Right now it's not bad. I am now trying to put a little journal together to see, or just to record, um, my dividends.
Oh,
So
you really
I'm
don't want to use
able.
my money, GA, for that? It's
Uh,
probably gonna be a lot easier for you if you do that, you know.
maybe it would be.
Yeah, man.
Maybe it would be.
I know for a fact it would be.
I know for a
Because
fact
it
it
would be
would be.
automatic. If I let me tell you a secret, you can tell me which brokers you have accounts with?
Well, I have a burrito, and
Okay.
I have it to Sagicor, because Sagicor. Well, for Sagicor, I use because the fees are less, so I use that
Hmm.
mostly for my swing trades.
Okay. Well, both of those have both of those brokers are JTrader linked, right?
They are.
So
They are.
yeah. So if you use Google Chrome, go in Google Chrome and type in the Chrome plugin. Look
Mm-hmm.
for the My Money JA Connect. Anybody can do this. This is open to anybody. It's a Chrome plugin. And what it does is you'll get onto JTrader. And the hardest part of doing anything like you said with your portfolio, putting all those things together, is
Mm-hmm.
entering each of the transactions and remembering to do it. I know it can be hard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we do is we automated all of that for you.
Yeah.
So you go and you get My Money JA Connect on Google. It's on Google. It's on Google. It's on Firefox, whatever your browser is, and it allows you to automatically sync everything from JTrader into your My Money JA portfolio,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and included in that everything will be your dividends.
Dividends and stuff.
Yeah, so 2 clicks automated. And after that, every time you want to update, every time you do a buy or a sell, you
Mm-hmm.
just click update. And of course, you
Okay.
don't have to update it for dividends. We pay
Yeah.
attention to whenever the dividends come out, and we do all of that for you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So for now, my dividend portfolio is not doing well. I don't know if I can say not doing badly, uh, because of the amount that I have in there. I'm not sure, but but for this quarter, I have well, I think I've received over 50,000 already. Well,
Mm.
it's more than
In
50,000.
dividends, just for the
Um,
quarter,
go again?
just for the quarter
Yeah,
in
yeah,
dividends.
just for this quarter.
Mm.
I have received over 50,000 in Jamaican dollars, and I do have uh, PBS, so that is in US dollars. So maybe that would push me a bit closer to 100,000. But um, it's not doing badly. Like for now, I am looking at you know,
Hmm.
reinvesting all of that and just trying to build. But sometimes what happens is that when you have good good instruments, like good stocks, what I tend to do is that I tend to put more into the stocks that pays a higher dividend, and I think that can be dangerous because you don't have so much of a balanced portfolio.
What do you mean?
Um, let us well well because let us say, for instance, I have careers. I do have careers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at one point, careers, well, at all points, I think that careers would have been paying the highest dividend on the market, except for
Many
this
times.
new, yes, right, except for this new PBS US dollar um
Even
preference share that
even
I
then,
bought. I think it pays more.
it depends on it depends. It's a yield. It's a personal thing, a yield. But if
Well,
you
yeah,
try to generalize it,
yeah,
KRS is one of the stronger players.
it is,
SBL
it
is
is,
a
it is.
strong quarterly player. Um, there are quite a few. There are
Right,
quite a
right.
few. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you find that say Carreras is paying more, a higher dividend, well, I probably tend to want to put more money towards Carreras because you're looking at the returns and so on that you will get
More
Okay.
money towards careers than what?
than say for instance a Trans Jamaica, even though Trans Jamaica is looking good for the future. And I think for any dividend investor, that is probably where you want to be putting some money now.
Trans Jamaica.
Um, yeah, Trans Jamaica. Well, Trans Jamaica for now this year I don't know. Maybe well last year maybe I got about 7% based on my average price. Um, let us say about 7% last year.
Hmm.
Um, but Carreras would have been paying me 10%, more than 10% based on my
Yield.
average price. Right,
Hmm.
yield.
Hmm.
So you will tend to stock up more on one as opposed to the other, which I think that is a little dangerous. Well,
Not
What,
um,
really.
what, what,
If
what,
it's
what's the, yeah,
working,
yeah. What's the decision you're making between the two? Why one is better than the other? You're not really saying that.
well,
Like,
well,
why would
well,
it be better to
well,
put to Jamaica
well.
than careers?
What I used to do
Mm-hmm.
is just to look at the yield, like the present yield. Um, Presently, this one would be paying more, and so you would want to reinvest most of your dividend back into this one because I don't necessarily put the dividends for each company back to that same company.
It doesn't
What I
have to.
will
It's
okay.
do,
really up to you.
right? What I will do is to look at them and see which one is cheaper on the day. When I say cheaper, I just mean based on the yield. Um, I will look and then I will buy that particular one.
I'm not seeing where this is a bad thing.
Wh- it can be a bad thing
Why?
because now I'm looking back at my portfolio and I am thinking that because you for me I would want to diversify a bit. I don't want all my investment to be in one stock. You want to spread them out, and let us say you have another stock that is paying you. Okay, let me see what else I have. Let us say I have Cygnus. Cygnus is
Hmm.
not even that bad because Cygnus, even though it looks like it's paying 6%, you don't pay tax on your Cygnus dividends. So sometimes it works out even better than say to buy like
That's
Trans
true. There's
Jamaica
no.
because that is only 0.85 of the total amount that you will get when you calculate it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually do some calculations
You have
around
to do the
your
calculation. You have to do
dividends.
it, man. You have
Right,
to calculate the
right,
tax.
right,
Yeah.
right. So you have to do the calculations around it. So if and my Cygnus has gone down too, but it
Your
looks bad.
Cygnus.
Yeah, Cygnus looks bad. Looks like
But
11,
if it's a dividend
11.5 now.
portfolio, then that might not be a bad thing.
No, because then you can now
Better yield.
buy right better yield. But I've been looking at it, and of all my of all the companies that I'm buying, like I'm not even looking to buy Cygnus now, which is what I should be looking to buy.
Hmm.
So that's my point. I should be looking to buy Cygnus now because it's down. But instead of looking to buy Cygnus, I'm looking to buy more Carreras because Carreras the yield is paying me more.
I think I might know the issue. But
Mm-hmm.
twofold.
Yeah.
When you're looking, what do you have a strongly defined goal for the portfolio? Meaning, you have a timeline in which the dividends must be a certain amount. So you then have a structure of how you buy with accordance with that. So is there a strongly defined goal around the portfolio that dictates how the stocks are chosen?
Well, d- well, in defining that, it would be more for me to have five strong companies at 20% each.
What did you come
And
up with
But
for that?
yeah, so how did the
How,
goal
how
come
did you
in?
come up with that? You just that like you decided that just generally before, like that's a good mix.
yeah, I just decided that I would probably like to have five companies in five different sectors and have them at equal 20% each. I don't know
You
if
Just
that
start
is
from
just
so much of a
you're talking about
arbitrary.
gain and start from risk. So you're looking at diversifying, having this
Mhm.
in this mix.
Yeah.
What then you have to say to yourself, what does that do for you? And if it's only from the perspective of okay, a diversifying, then you have to ask yourself, does that strategy work with the level of gain I want to be making?
Well, it's not just diversifying. Well, well, right, because I wouldn't say it's just diversifying because I wouldn't just diversify and having um co- co- different companies paying me like 2%. I'm not
No man, yeah
accepting.
man. So
I'm not taking
yeah man, but
50%. Yeah,
you're still diversifying. You get me? The
I am
approach.
diversified. I would
Yeah man.
think
So the
no.
goal, yeah man. So the goal is, as I asking the goal from a returns perspective. Why when you invest this money, what should be
Mhm.
happening in terms of what you're getting back from it?
Well, in the next 10 years, I'm pretty looking that maybe I want to retire early,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and I would like to. Well, it's not just for me.
Doesn't
I
matter.
am right. I'm also thinking of generational wealth. I would like to leave
Hmm.
this portfolio to my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I am trying to teach them about it, even though they're not listening so much. But
Yeah, that's the hardest thing.
I would like, I would like that when I'm taking money from this, I'm not taking the principal. At some point, I would like to turn off my reinvesting and just use it as an income portfolio or as a way of generating income for me.
Mhm.
But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I do not want to have to sell them in order
So you want
to
dividends to be
realize
paid
this
nicely.
gain.
Which
Yes,
one
I want
dividends?
to. Right, I want to
Do
leave this
you
portfolio.
do you have an idea of how much dividends you should be getting in it at the 10 years mark? So what would be the
Well,
success point if you were to make you have an idea of if I make X amount of money from dividends within any year,
yeah.
then the portfolio was a success. Do you have an idea of that? So 10 years
Okay.
from now, it should give me this
Okay.
amount of money.
Okay. So I'm thinking that at the end of this year, um, I'm hoping that I'm collecting about 250,000 in dividends. So I'm thinking that I would like to bring it to a point where I can actually collect pretty close to $1 million, and that is
Within
going to take some
over
work.
10 years.
Not well, because I do. Well, I do hope that I have other income. So
Mhm.
at the
I mean,
10-year mark,
I'm
yeah,
just talking about this portfolio. So this portfolio would make up a mix of your total income at that point. But it's what I'm just talking about this portfolio. So would you know? So you're saying 10 years from now, if you were to make $1 million in dividends every
yeah,
year from this portfolio,
yeah.
it would be fine for you.
That is what I would like for sure. That is what I
So
would like
I
for
would do
sure
at that point. I would say, all right, what is the expected dividend yield on this portfolio 10 years from now, and what kind of how much money would I need to invest
to get
uh,
there.
to get there? So if the dividend is set 10% that you would work out, then you
Hmm.
need to know that you have $10 million in the portfolio at that point for a dividend yield. So you have to invest to the point where the portfolio is valued that, or your dividend yield generated from that portfolio
Yeah,
is $1 million. You have to work
that
out that.
that is
And then
something
that
because
would then pick that would be then how you pick every single stock. Because
okay,
then
yeah, yeah,
every
yeah,
single stock you buy,
yeah.
10 years from now, can I get X amount of money from it?
I see what
Does
you're
that make
saying. I see
sense?
what you're
Yeah,
saying.
then for that thing.
I've not really formalized my approach yet, but I like that you mentioned that. Um, but for now, basically for now, what I'm doing, I'm just putting what I can afford to put, because in addition to dividends that I've collected, I've reinvested, and then I also try to add some to it. And then the amount that I add to it is not fixed. It is just like okay, I may be able to transfer $500, not 500 Jamaican dollars. So I
Yeah, but
mean
you transfer whatever
um
you can at the
Whatever you
time when
right,
you
can.
have
Just
it.
you're
right,
doing something that most people don't
Yeah.
actually do, and I
So
think they
right.
should be doing with a long-term dividend portfolio.
But 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 I will take your point. As soon as I get off this call, I will sit down. No, no kidding. I will sit down and I will see how much I need. But then, right, I will just come up with a yield percentage to say that, okay, let us say this is paying me on an average 7% or 8%. 8% is kind of a high for Jamaica. Let us say this is paying me
for
7%.
Jamaica,
How much?
but
For
for
Yeah,
everywhere,
right.
Jamaica, 8%,
Because
8% as a
because
dividend yield is high everywhere. What do you
you know
mean?
what I
everywhere.
yeah, you know why I said that? Because there are not a lot of companies in Jamaica that really pays good dividend. And
Hmm.
so that is why I said for Jamaica. Like in other countries you may be able to find companies that pay you 8% and so on. On a regular basis. You do have some companies too that will pay you, well, most of the REITs will pay you on a monthly basis. You do not
Hmm.
have a lot of that in Jamaica. And so for now, I'm thinking it's slim pickings. I don't know if you'll agree with me, but I'm
Uh,
thinking slim pickings.
Depends how you're looking at it. You also have a 10-year buffer.
Okay, okay, let me tell you. I can tell you what I have. I have Trans Jamaica. I have
Oh no, man.
Carrera.
I mean, I'm saying you have the gap of 10 years from now.
That
So you have
is
to
true.
everything you're buying has to be you have to look at that. Okay, if I buy it today,
Mm-hmm.
what does this get me 10 years from now in dividends? Because the
Right,
company going to
because
grow, inflation going to happen. This company going to make me more money.
right.
It's going to pay
And
more money on any single dollar I put in it today.
mhm,
That's the expectation you be buying whatever you buy it for. So you
right.
have to think that in mind as well.
And one of the things too, I notice that a lot of the companies abroad, they will increase their dividend yearly. They will have a yearly increase. I I sat down today and I was saying to myself, I looked at Cygnus and I said to myself, I don't really know if Cygnus is actually increasing because
Remember
the
that on
price
APO.
is flat. Well, the price is flat. Price is flat. So am I getting increased dividend like per year? Like even a 3% increase on the dividend would be significant because the price is flat. It's not going
I would
anywhere.
look at the APO as well, though. Remember they issued a lot more shares, so
They did, but now they're trying to
it's
buy
more
back
money
some
to
of
pay.
those shares.
It's more
So
money to pay out. It's more
I
people to
think you
pay out
should
across.
also. I
well,
think you should. I think you should also maybe. I. I mean, I don't want to say I'm not sure it's a my money J ad. It's not a
yeah,
my money J ad, but my money
yeah,
today does it for you. You can
mm-hmm,
go on and see every dividend that Signals has done. Every company actually on my money JA.
yeah,
You can go to tools,
mm-hmm,
corporate actions, and we have everything
yeah,
there, right? I'm
yeah,
saying that because it will help answer your question. Why am I? I'm pointing that out because
yeah,
in my personal view, one of
mhm,
the advantages that we've had in Jamaica is that if you're a dividend investor,
yeah.
you actually have amazing options in Jamaica that nobody actually looks at in a serious way. If you
Do you
these are the things you're
do
asking
you know
all the
any
right
other dividend
questions.
investor? Do you know any other dividend? Because you were just
Yeah,
saying
man,
on the show that
I know some, I know
you
some,
know
and
some.
I've heard some people that I know are actual
Yeah,
tactical
trying to
investors speak
build out.
about the dividends.
Yeah, trying to
Yeah,
build out portfolios and so on.
yeah, some of them, from top to bottom, you've heard
Hmm.
Barry come on and talk about dividends
Mm.
Yeah.
and the impact on MJE and so on. And
Hmm.
at the other end of the scale, I hear people who don't have a lot of money, but they have a small amount of money and a
Hmm.
piece of it, then building a true pension or long-term
Yeah, a
portfolio,
true dividend portfolio.
and they're building it with the expectation that dividends are what's going to help them. I hear a lot of
Yeah.
people also who, not a lot of people, but of the small subset of people I'm talking about here, some of them, the biggest part of it actually, are people who are doing dollar cost averaging
Hmm.
in a stock that is also paying out dividends. So they're
Dividend. Yeah.
also reinvesting the dividend in the stock
Yeah.
that they're doing the dollar cost averaging with. Um, that I would advise everybody to look at all their numbers, not just where it is now, but where
Yeah.
it's likely to be
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
if they're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about dividends. Because they, to my view, the things I've seen on the market,
Mm-hmm.
we have an outsized advantage in terms of our dividend. And yes, our dividend yields tend to increase.
Really?
Sometimes, yeah, man, if you look
And
at it, sometimes beating inflation
what are
because
some
it's
of the
tied to the things
advantages
that
that
cause
you have
inflation.
found, though, Randy? What are some of the advantages that you have found in terms of somebody building out a dividend portfolio? Because for one, like the main thing I'm looking at now is the increase of dividend yearly, and I don't know. Well, based on Trans Jamaica's uh, based on Trans Jamaica's prospectus, we do expect them to increase dividends going forward. But
Hmm.
for the other companies, I don't know if I've seen where companies are actually eh,
I wouldn't look at it from our prospector's point of view,
no.
meaning the companies very often tell us what they want, the best case scenario, and what sounds
Mm-hmm.
good in a
Yep,
prospectus,
that is true.
and
That is
those
true.
kind of things don't necessarily. I mean, they can't take
That
the
is true.
dividend. Dividend is a case by case thing. It's not the company cannot tell me 3 years from now that they're gonna pay a dividend here
Yeah, you can't
and
pay the
this
dividends
amount,
unless
and
you
I
have
am.
money.
They
Yeah.
also have to tell me how they're gonna make the money to do that, right?
Yeah, you
So
need that cash flow for that because it doesn't make sense you're paying dividends for money that you've borrowed. If you're not
it can make sense,
having a
depends what they
healthy
do,
cash
but
flow.
the cash flow and the profits will determine the dividends at the end of the day. So,
Mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm,
then you
mm-hmm.
have to look at the company you're buying from. No, I mean, if I say a dividend yield of that 3% dividend yield on $3 stock,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, sure. But if my average price over all the years is $5
Yeah,
and is a 3% dividend yield, the stock in 10 years the stock is $30, then
then you
that's
would have. Yeah,
I'm making a lot more on that. Do you get me?
for
So
sure, for sure, for sure.
dividend yield is very
And
personal. The company is going
right,
to be case by case. So it has to be
yes,
looked at like that, especially if you're not looking at, okay, I'm buying this and this year's going to pay me this amount.
right. And that is one of the things I've been looking at too. I've been looking at because the fact that some of these dividends are yield are so low, I'm thinking that at what point or if my stock increase, let us say 100%, am I willing to um to trade that stock
Mm.
and and take that gain instead of dividends? Because when you look at it, I would be calculating that to say how many years is it going to take me in dividends to make this 100% that I can take now. And so that is one of the things I've been looking at to be able to work out to say uh, what increase, like at what point am I willing to sell this stock.
Then think about this. Suppose you have this stock, the
Mm-hmm,
price goes up.
mm-hmm,
You're at a 2% dividend yield, and the price flies by 100%. So your dividend
mm-hmm.
yield on this thing is one. But you just made
Yeah.
100% on it. Your
Mm-hmm.
dividend yield is still two
Still
percent. And
2%.
suppose the increase came on the back of something that would cause the company to be making more money, and then now the dividend yield gone back up despite the 100%. You mean
Mm.
you have
Well,
to
that is the
so there's no one answer of okay, this amount is okay. It then depends again on what is your goal for the portfolio,
that
how much
is
money
true.
you're putting behind this thing, and what you're getting out of this thing based on
That
what you
is
want from
true.
it.
And I think that is where more research would be needed
Hmm.
for you to be able
Mhm.
to decide
And
at
just
some
regular
point.
goal setting and planning around your goal, where your actual moves will be in accordance to
Mm.
the goal that you say you set for the portfolio.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I see what you say.
Yeah,
I
I
see it.
think if you actually do it, I think if and when you actually do it, you might be pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the things that come to me on the market,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going in one direction, and if I'm
Yeah,
and when I'm going truly and sensibly and clearly and deliberately in one direction,
yeah,
along the way I pick up other things.
Yeah.
I've benefited wonderfully from dividends over the years.
yeah.
But I tell people I don't care about dividends. I don't invest for dividends. It's getting harder and harder to say that, but that's not what I set out for because one, immediately ahead of the game when you have an idea of what the dividend yields are on the market.
Yeah.
People have no idea what their yields are on the market, right?
Oh yes.
That's a
There's
part of grow. When I do grow every month, I wanted at one. There's a point in grow where I show people. First, I ask them what they expect. What do they expect? How you want to hear everybody think? If you are a dividend
yeah.
investor, what kind of gains you expect from dividends? Then I show them the kind of gains that they'd expect from dividends, and the difference is vast, right? It's hard to
Yeah.
people who say that they want 400%, they want the money triple up or quadruple up, they want a whole heap of money. They
Mm-hmm.
also say that they're a dividend investor. When they
Yep.
see that, oh, a typical dividend is 0.86% yield.
Yes. You gotta wait long for that. You gotta wait long for
Well,
that.
what happened is that they didn't actually check to see what it was that they're
Mm-hmm.
doing. They go with
But
what sound
Mayberry,
good.
I think that Mayberry has this dividend spreadsheet that you can just look at, like they have all the companies there, and they have
Hmm.
they
They
have
do.
they have the dividend yield on there
Hmm.
too. But
They do.
I don't think that it is updated. Like the last time I checked it, the
Well, the
dividend
man
yield
himself
that
hearing
I
you, you know, so I
saw.
assure you he's either going to tell you it is updated or it will be updated after
Well,
this
I would
point.
like to see it updated. You know what? Maybe I should just go and refresh it on my computer to see if it has been updated, because I haven't seen anything on it for 2023. It's all about it's still 2022,
Hmm.
and some of the yields are looking way different than what I ever
Also,
seen. So
yield
yeah.
is a very personalized thing. You have to remember that.
That is
So you
true. It
can't,
depends on my average price, because for the
correct.
right, because the yield for today is not going to be my yield
Mm-hmm.
based on the price that I buy the security. So
Yep.
uh,
That tricks a lot of people.
um, right. I'm quite aware of that. So if you can get like a company at IPO like for $1,
Hmm.
and it moves up to $10, and it says that it's paying 2%. Doesn't mean that it's paying 2% to you, because you have bought it at a good price. So
You
I
bought at a
understand
price that allows that yield to be good. You
for
see,
you.
I hesitate to I move away from that good or bad price thing
Hmm.
because what is good, that's a personalized, that's a personal thing. What's good to you might not be good to me, or
Right,
and
right,
vice
right,
versa.
right,
So
right. That is true. That is true.
yeah,
That is
man, it's
true.
very important that we start thinking in those ways. We start having a
That
conversation
is true.
with this sort of accuracy around it.
Right,
This is the
right,
sort of
right.
accuracy that the space, especially the industry, needs. So I'm
Yeah,
happy that it's starting here. I
right,
want to hear it more in the space.
right. I would
But you
like
notice
to
when you
hear
point
more
out,
conversations
yeah,
about dividend investing, because
in a
all
real
people,
way, in a real practical way.
in a
Yes.
real practical way, because all people talk about is, the amount that they can get after a month of holding the stock. And nothing is wrong with that, because as I said before, I do have a swing trade account. It's not a day
Hmm.
trader account. I kind of hold them 6 months to a year, kind of a thing, and then I would sell and purchase something else. So I do have that kind of account. So I don't have an issue with that. You make the money however you can make the money. But at the
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
same time, when the stock prices go down, like this year, I don't know what the average loss is on the market today, but my loss is pretty significant. And
Hmm.
no one speaks about that. No one speaks about it. They just hide those stocks somewhere, in a back portfolio or whatever, and move on to something else.
There's
But
no way to hide them. What you mean? They're on the market. The market
well,
is there.
some of mine I don't even want to look at it. So when I say hide, that's
You're talking about yourself. Okay.
that's a real thing. That's a real thing. Believe me, because sometimes you see them and you really want to puke. But
Mm.
but
Pull yourself out of the shell, man. Figure out what next. I always make a
right,
Yeah.
decision. It
right,
shouldn't be. I
right.
mean,
That
honestly, you
is
should
true.
always have
That
a
is
decision
true.
in your head, but
And
put yourself in the position, in the mindset to always what's next.
and and I don't usually do that. There was a caller before me who
Mm-hmm.
mentioned something about him having three choices, whether he wants to average down, whether he wants to sell at a loss. And he made another point, which was a good point. 3 good points he made. And I looked at it and say, well, for me, because I'm not really in a rush, but I'm still at a loss. There's no question about it. I would probably just average down on the companies that I know, because I've been trying to put together a different strategy because my companies are down. Like, I look at them and I'm like, if I had one company, it would have been easier for me, because every month I would just average down on that company. But no, I have 5 companies. So
You've
I'm
done
looking at them
grow.
and
You've done grow.
no, you've invited me a bunch of times for
But
sure,
you
but I
haven't
have not
come.
done that yet.
If
But
you had come to
you
grow,
know
I
what?
suspect you'd be
You know what?
approaching it completely
All those
differently.
Grow subscribers and all the people who have come to Grow, I am sure that they are making losses too. But some of them are hiding in the shadows.
No, ma'am. I'm not saying that. I mean, I don't know people's portfolios. I'm not saying none of them don't have losses, but I
Right,
don't
right,
know.
right.
You, I would love if you did grow, so that you
You
can
know what?
remember
One of
this
these days I'm going to do
conversation.
Grow because I would like to have a conversation with you. But I'm saying that a lot of these people, they do not speak about the losses. And when I
So,
look at it, I
but
said
what
to
makes you
myself,
think that they
if you
have
check if
losses?
you were to check the subscriber group though,
I have,
you have.
yes.
No,
Oh,
no,
so
no.
you
She's
know,
saying no, man. She's saying no,
but
man. She's
so you know
saying
that we speak, so you know that they do
No,
speak
no,
about
no, no, no,
losses.
no,
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 no.
no.
She's
I've
saying that
not
they
gone into
have
the
losses.
subscriber group. I've not gone to subscribe.
She's
Oh yeah,
she's
but
But,
saying
they
that they
do
have
speak about
losses.
losses.
She's
but,
saying that they
but,
have losses.
but I have losses, and I'm sure that a number of people on the market would have had losses too if you're
Mm-hmm.
buying stocks.
Yeah,
This
that's
these
just,
2 years,
I'm a
these
I'm a subscriber and I've come on here and spoken about losses.
right, right,
So
right. So when I look at my losses, I'm saying to myself, if I had one stock, I would have just been averaging down. Now I
So you
have
know
to
why I
decide.
hold on, Tom Sings. You know why I
Yeah,
interrupted and I asked you that? If
why
you
did you?
don't grow, you'd understand that you're talking about some basic grow, so some beginner
Right,
grow points, no?
right,
So if
right,
you don't
and
grow a year or two ago when I had invited you the first time, you would be
right,
saying that you'd be in a completely different place, and
right.
you wouldn't be
But
worried about whether or not
well, it's not a worry, It's
no,
not a
no, as
worry.
in you would be surprised and understand that a lot of the growth subscribers, not that they don't have a
Hmm.
stock that's down or 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
down, but their
Hmm.
portfolios aren't for the most part down.
mhm.
Not that some of
Well,
them don't, but
I
anybody who
have.
is active and doing the things, it's not
Yeah.
actually down and it's not
Mhm.
accidental. You'd be able to have an actual structure with
Yeah.
which you approach the market. And like I hear you
I
talking, and
do.
I know that's
I
what you're
do have
missing,
a strategy. I do have a
I,
strategy. I
but
do
it's not
have a
working.
strategy. Hmm?
It's
is
not
it
Right.
working.
working?
Well, well, well. I do not go on the market every day and say that okay, I'm
You
doing
You
this,
don't
don't
I'm
need
have
doing
to
to.
this,
be on the market
because
every day.
right, because I
I
do
don't watch it
work.
the
I
market
do.
today.
I do have to work. But, but,
You don't
but.
have to be on the market every day. That's another common misconception. It's a
All right.
thinking that to make the money, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
on the market every day and watching
Mm-hmm.
it. You don't. That's not how it's made. That's not how it works. That's not what I mean when I say have a structure, a strategy. I can hear, however, that you're
I
struggling from
listen
the
to you
lack
guys
of that.
all the time. I listen to you guys all the time. Sometimes
But
I'm
you're not
coming back from, like, sometimes I'm
true.
coming from work. I would just tune into you guys and whatever. But then I
I
I'm
say I'm
like,
not doing grow, and guess what? The money you've saved from not doing grow,
mm-hmm,
it
mm-hmm.
might be able to help you get out of the red a little bit, I hope.
And
But
the thing you
Well,
mentioned, the thing you're mentioning now around
yes,
if I had one stock,
yes.
there's a lot more depth around that because you have to say to yourself, I mean, when the start of the year when you were picking the
Mm-hmm,
stocks you're buying, right? You're
mm-hmm.
looking at them and you say, all right, I want to pick
It's not the
these.
start of
Oh,
the year. I had these some last year.
whenever you're buying them, man. But
Yeah.
you're pick them and you were saying thing there. At that point, were you thinking the same stock before the stock went down? Where you saying
Mm-hmm.
you would have to have said to yourself, I should buy only one, and if I choose one out of those that would actually be the better one, and actually pick it. Yeah, that's the reality of that. It's not
Well,
just all right,
well,
cool.
I
This is where
did
we
not.
are
I
now.
did
So
not.
I should have or could have.
I think I saw a bunch of opportunities, and I went into those.
The truth is,
Um,
but they
you
haven't
still
worked
have
out.
the same opportunity to restructure the portfolio to be that one stock. If you're
I do.
comfortable doing that, you
I
still have
do.
to choose that one stock. There's a lot of things you can still be doing right now. Don't
Yeah.
freeze.
Right.
And
I
that's
do.
why the grower mentioned COVID. A lot of these things
Mhm,
are normal things that people go
mhm.
through. You have to have a
All
structure
right.
around how you approach it.
Right. Right. And And for me, just being out here on my own, I do think that I have a strategy. So when I look at my
It's not about whether
portfolio,
or not you have a strategy.
mhm.
Is the question? The question is the strategy working? Is it and even if it's working, is it the best strategy for your situation? No, I
Well,
don't
I have
think you
not
win from
approached it
even.
yet. I've not approached it yet because I've been thinking. I've been
Well, it's been
thinking.
a year. You don't. And here's what
Okay.
you do now. You're starting to blame the market because you say, "Oh, I don't think
Well,
these
I'm not blaming.
companies are
Well,
doing
the
well."
market is down. The market
You
is down.
say,
There's
"I
no
don't
question
think."
about that.
But you never
Yeah,
buy
but
the
that's
market.
yeah. You don't buy the
No, I bought
market.
individual stocks.
Yeah.
Which you didn't pick as well as you could have. So you also say
Maybe I
that,
did not.
I don't think there are a lot of options on the market to get dividends from. Last year, how many company, what percentage of the market do you think paid dividends last year?
I don't know. You tell me.
Make a guess.
What percentage of the market?
Yeah,
Percentage,
man.
like in terms of the number of companies?
If the market is 100 companies, which it's roughly,
Yeah.
what percentage of them last year you think paid dividends?
I would say 60%.
So you think 60% of the companies, more than half of the companies, the majority of the companies on the market paid a dividend last year, but you think that dividends aren't easy. You're saying that
She qualifies. She said good dividend. So
Right, it's the yield
I
I'm
think
talking
she's talking
about.
about the
I'm not
yield that
talking
she
about
likes.
0.5% or 1%. Like,
why not? 0.5 of
no,
a percent this year is 40% 10 years from now.
0.5%. Like, I
Like no
do,
no
like,
company is going to pay out 40% as a dividend.
mhm.
So the only way you're going to get the 40% dividend
It's to
is to
buy, right.
own
It's
it
when you
now.
get it at a good price.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Exactly. At a low price, you see, come with the good again. What's good?
at a low price.
What would a
At a low
good
price.
dividend yield
Well,
for
we
you
understand.
be?
We understand. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. At a low price.
I
At
don't.
a low
I
price.
don't. That's
At a
another
low
thing that
price.
happens.
All
So
right.
since we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about the road ahead, that's
Yeah.
another thing that I fear is going to still be on the road ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a fan of it. That thing
Mm-hmm.
being good. That thing being
Qualifiers that
nice.
don't really mean the
Yeah.
same thing to everybody.
Yeah, a good
You
company or
you
a
No
nice
you
choice.
said
company. Yeah.
exactly like what's a good company?
All
Just
right.
to answer you, by the way, just to
Well,
answer
for
you,
me,
hold
for
on, just to
me,
answer
for
you and
yes,
everybody else so that we know,
yeah,
60 of the companies on the market last year paid a dividend.
60,
60. So you were
60.
almost right. Your guess was pretty close.
But I
Close to
did say
60%.
60%.
Yeah. So that means
What?
that dividends are not hard to get.
Right, that is true, Randy. But, but,
But
but,
you have a 10-year gap. 10 years. What are you
but
looking at this for? So you
the
have to really think with
yield,
that in
the
mind.
yield for some of these companies, like, would be so low. For me, it would be like insignificant to have those and consider them as
Have you
dividend company
considered?
in my portfolio. Yeah.
I
Have
don't
you?
think so. I don't think that's true. Hold on. I don't think that's true.
Okay.
Here's why I don't think that's true.
Okay.
What yield, what annual yield in your portfolio is good to you? Tell me the percentage at which good starts for you.
Good starts is 5%.
5%. How many of the dividend paying stocks in your portfolio pay you an annual yield greater than 5%?
All except one.
Give me the number of them that pay five greater than 5% yield.
The number of them? What do you mean the number of
Yes.
them? I told you
Three,
what
th-
I
you said
told you.
how many stocks are in your dividend portfolio? Four?
Not a lot. No, I have one, two, three, four, five.
And four of the five pay you a yield greater than 5%.
That is correct. And one don't pay me at all, and I don't even know what to say about it.
Oh, that's fine. So, okay, so of the four stocks that are paying you dividends,
Yeah,
all of them are greater than 5%.
that is correct.
And you mentioned them. One is Trans
I
Jamaica.
mentioned them all.
What's the other one? Just remind me and
I
everybody
mentioned
listening.
Trans Jamaica, Carreras,
Hmm.
uh, Cygnus. I have Cygnus,
Hmm.
and I did buy this preference share, PBS,
PBS.
which is pretty good.
PBS. So you actually have the you have the those are three of the top dividend paying
Well, yes,
securities
yes.
on the overall market,
Those
right?
are the best, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So for the people like watching us on video, I'll show on screen. Last year, 2022,
Mm-hmm.
these were the top 20 from Carreras
Mm-hmm.
to Sagicor. Now, this is in terms of yield.
Yeah.
It's not. No, sprinkle salt on that. I still have to. I don't know. I'm not gonna swear to that data because I didn't look at what the full workout of it was. But again, yield is a personal thing. So
Yeah.
this number in terms of yield is worked out in a different way. How I worked out is a different way. It's not the typical way, and everybody will have to have a different way that they work it out. On
How
my
do
money
you?
JA, the yield is two things.
Yeah.
Whatever the current share price is,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have it in your portfolio, whatever your
Average
personal
price.
average price is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
always going to be different like that.
It
Now,
is.
if
It
you
is.
you have shown that you have the knack for picking the stocks that have strong dividend yields,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's fair then to say that we don't have good dividend options on the market. But we do. We have consistent. Yes, we don't have
Well,
monthly dividend
well,
payers like some REITs in the US,
well.
but
Outside of these, there are it's slim pickings. Outside of these ones that
I
I
don't know if
hear,
that's true
Slim
though.
pickings for 5%, but that's with the view now, the current dividend yield. But then you
yeah.
also have to factor in growth, especially again, you have
Well,
10
that is
years
true.
to your goal. Anything
So
you're picking must factor that in.
yes. So what I plan to do is that I plan to add two more companies that are actually dividend growth stocks that I would consider them to be um, giving me both dividends and some growth over the period. So I do plan to add two more to that. Um,
Is that in
I am.
target to a goal in adding the two? So
I
why wouldn't you
think,
just buy more of what you have?
Why don't I just buy more of what I have?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason why I wouldn't want to buy more of what I have, two things. One is because most of these dividend stocks
hmm
they don't offer much price appreciation. And two, I do not want to put all my eggs in just five baskets. So that's
just
two
five
reasons.
baskets.
Right.
But
That is
watch
two
me, watch
reasons
me.
why I would not want to put more. Go again?
You're saying that the stocks that offer you these sort of dividend yields,
Yes.
you have a portfolio that is designed to give you high dividend returns,
Yeah.
in your view.
Hmm.
Why then are you saying that these stocks aren't giving you a lot of cap gains? You didn't say you're looking for
Yeah,
cap
you're
gains, you
there
say
for
you're
cap
looking
gains,
for
there for
dividends.
dividends. Why is the
Right.
test? Why cap
Right.
gains
I
tests
know
come in?
that. I know that. So I'm satisfied with that. But
So
who
why
to
are
say
you
that I don't?
marking down a dividend stock for not giving you cap gains when you bought the dividend stock for dividends?
Well, well,
That's
well.
like you hire me because I know how to paint, and you
No,
fire me because I'm not playing really good music. You didn't
no.
hire me to play really good music.
Well, I am saying that I'm satisfied with those, but at the same time, um,
You really want gains.
maybe I do want a little more gain than what I'm getting now
But
on
you have
these
a
stocks.
portfolio for that. You
I
say you
hope
have
you
I
a
do
portfolio for that.
some things. I hope
Yeah.
you do grow up before I stop doing grow up, because you will, the benefit that you will get from doing grow up,
Hmm. Hmm.
you will realize you have been working maybe 80% harder than you need to, doing the wrong thing.
I'm doing the
Yeah.
wrong thing.
Yeah, man.
So you give me no credit for my portfolio tonight.
No, no, no. I'm giving you, no, I will. You have managed to pick
Mm-hmm.
three of four of the better dividend payers on the market. I give you
Yeah.
all credit there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you said that you started out looking for dividends, and
Yeah.
you have picked the things that pay some good dividends. So I'm
From
also
this
giving you credit
portfolio.
there.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving you method credit, and I'm not giving the analysis that you're looking at credit. Meaning,
Okay. Okay.
I'll
I take
explain
that.
why.
I take
So, for
that. Yeah.
example, as I said, the dividend yield is a personal thing. The
Yes.
dividend yield, the 5% dividend yield of 2027 is the this company isn't paying dividends now of
Mm-hmm.
2023.
Hmm.
That's the
That
truth,
is
you know.
true. That is true. That is true. That is true. That is
And
true.
bear in mind
Mm-hmm.
when the cap gains happen, so when the share price moves up over the next 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and the company has grown in terms of what the actual activities of the company are, and they're making more
Yeah.
profits and they're paying it out, the dividend yield on that company might not be actually very great to somebody coming in
Hmm.
2027.
At that
For
time,
them,
right?
it might
You're
be a
correct.
1% yield.
That is correct.
but to you, it might be
Mm-hmm.
a 5% yield,
Or
which
seven
means that
percent.
you also have heavy cap gains on it. But you weren't
Mm-hmm.
looking for that. In fact, you're saying that you're
Right,
throwing
right,
away some of the
right.
strong
And
players
and
because you're
and
looking
that
for
is why
cap
I'm going to
gains.
cut. Right. And that is why I'm going to cut in right now. And that is why I said to you that I would also like to add two more companies that I do consider to be dividend growth for that exact reason.
Yeah, but that's not helping the method that he's talking about
Yeah,
or
no, I
what we're
wouldn't
For
do
trying
that.
to
that
say.
exact reason. For that exact reason. So
If
I would like to have some maybe some cap gains. I am
mhm.
prepared to buy two more stocks now that may pay me 2%. But I'm also looking at it to say that 10 years down the line, these stocks may be paying me way more than 2%.
You want to say
Mm-hmm.
which two?
Um, well, I'm looking, well, for me, one of those stocks would have to be Burrito.
Okay.
And I am also looking at, well, I'm still researching. I'm also looking at, uh, well, I don't know. You know, I really do, I really do like Mail Pack. I really do like Mail Pack.
Okay.
Um, I don't think that Mail Pack has, um, you know, uh,
I,
gotten
I
to
really
full
hope it.
potential.
I really hope it grow before you choose the next two. I
Well,
honestly do.
well,
Hey, to her credit, Mailpack was the third largest last year, if you depend on how you measure it, right?
Mm-hmm.
At
yeah,
6.2% yield. But
and
but but
but
looking
for the growth,
backwards does not guarantee looking forwards. It don't usually work that way.
I
Mm-hmm.
And
know
There are
that.
a lot more to look
the
at if
high
you look,
yield
especially
of net.
especially
Yeah, go ahead, Danhai.
especially
Mhm.
let's look at the company. Don't look at only just okay what dividend yield will pass.
That is
Mm-hmm.
true. That
Especially
is true.
especially the dividend portfolio as much as that sounds counterintuitive. But
Yeah,
you're not looking at making 6.2 this year. You're looking at I need $1 million from this portfolio every year, 10 years from now.
yeah,
You have to work out what that actually looks like.
right.
Yeah.
So that is why I do think that going forward, Burrito is going to be one of those companies, and I do think that it could be a good dividend growth stock, and so that is one that I would like to add for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still thinking maybe Jamaica Broilers.
I think you'll get a couple of chances to add Barita.
Go again,
Cornerstone.
go again.
I think you'll get a few chances to add it for cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm seeing it at 70 something now, which is not bad because it went over 100, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm out of that. I'm not going to buy that ever because I'm not buying it for that because I did think that it was overvalued at that price, but at $70,
30% cheaper you're buying it though. But
30% cheaper, I looked at it and
what do you think of that in terms of dividend yield? Because
right,
your
I
dividend yield
looked at
barely
it.
changes from a 30% cheaper perspective.
Maybe not for them, but I do think that going forward, um, it is going to be a, well, I can't even say good company on this podcast. I don't know.
you can say
You
good
can
enough.
say
You
just have
can
to tell us
say
what you
Saying good
mean.
company.
well, you
I'm
can
not
say
saying
good. You
good
just have to
company.
qualify
I'm
it.
not
You just have
saying
to
good
qualify
company
it.
on this podcast, but for sure, going forward, I do think that Barita could be one for my portfolio.
What do you
And
think?
dividend growth
When you
stock.
say good, okay, so you think that
Did
you'll
I
be
say
able to
good?
get? You think you'll be able to get the 5% dividend yield from Barita?
From Varita.
Well, not this year, maybe not next year, but going forward, I do think that with my 10-year
10 years from
timeline,
now.
I do
Mm-hmm.
Ten
think
years
that
from now.
Barita, yeah, I do think that I'll be able to get that and maybe some more from Barita by then.
All right, gotcha.
I mean, I think there are worse options out there, so I can't say no. I mean, Barita is in
Yeah.
finance, and they also know that. I think there are various factors, in my view, people can count on continued dividends from Barita.
Yeah.
And of course,
I
the
think,
yield
I
is a
think,
matter of
I think where you purchase it, at what price you purchase it, at
yeah.
70 something, at 77, I think that that would not be a bad price to enter. But no, I do have to think about the opportunity cost because I really want to get some more of Trans Jamaica. It's gone out of my price band now.
You can't
I'm
stop thinking
hoping
about it.
I'm,
Really?
I'm
Trust me.
hoping it will come
Oh
back.
wait.
Wild, wild.
What is your price band? Trans Jamaica, what?
Okay. So what happened is that I've been, well, I've gotten some for cheap. My average price was about 130, but I've bought some recently more expensive. So my average price now it's like at 137. And
Hmm.
I don't want to pass. Well, I would have preferred to have it at that 141 IPO price. But
Hmm.
where it's gone now, I'm thinking that if I buy a huge amount now, it's going to push my average price way over that, and I really do not want that to happen. So for now, I'm thinking that it's out of my price band. I don't know. Like you tell me otherwise.
You
Well, I
you
legally
can't say
can't
that,
tell
you
you otherwise.
Come on, tell me
I can't
otherwise.
say that. But
It's a
here's what I will tell you. If you do grow, you will benefit. And I'm not just saying that because I want people to do grow. I'm saying it because I'm hearing what you're saying and I'm like, see, it's like you go in the kitchen, you take out the bowl, you take out the eggs, you take out the flour, you take out the sugar.
Yeah,
You say you're baking a cake, and
I
you turn
am.
on the sink and start run the fork on it. And I say, what are you doing? You say, I'm baking a cake.
No, I'm not baking a cake with water.
I agree, but you're the one who told me you're baking a cake and you have all the pieces in front of you to bake a cake, but you're doing something weird.
I
Yeah.
know, I know,
I,
and I know what you're saying because I did raise the point that I do expect dividend to increase from Trans Jamaica, but
Constance,
there's no
here's what
guarantee
I'll
Yeah.
for
say.
that.
Here's what I'll say to you.
Yes.
The next grow, the
Mm-hmm.
next grow
Mm-hmm.
is next week. There's a split during the week, and there's a full grow on the weekend. Come on the grow, and if when you're done, you think it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
worth your time, tell me, and I'll refund you all of your money. All right?
Uh, I, well, I don't have a problem with that, but
Okay.
are you saying that I am that bad?
No, no, no. And I'm not saying
No,
you're bad at all. You have
at
all the
all.
ingredients to make the cake. You have all the layout to make the cake. I just don't know what you're
You're
doing
just
over
not
there by the
mixing.
sink.
I'm just not mixing it. I'm just not mixing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
All right.
man. Just
Because
yeah.
because well, wouldn't you agree with me? Well, I don't know if you would agree with me, but for me, I don't want to get Trans Jamaica over that price. I don't want to get Trans Jamaica over
Come
dollar
to
fifty
grow.
cent.
Come and do grow. And I assure you that when you're done, you will realize how to bake this cake properly. You have all the
I
Okay.
think
pieces, but
I
yeah,
think
turn
you have
off
a
the
very
water and come stand over by here where the ingredients are. That's,
I think you
yeah.
have a very powerful piece that you will serve when you do grow, which is honesty with self.
Mm-hmm.
There's something happening with your reasoning for why you don't want to do something that you're saying
And it's
that if you can
contradicting.
it is
No,
contradictive, but if you
I'm just
apply
telling the truth, man. I'm just telling the
Yeah,
truth.
man, and that's the problem.
but
I'm just telling the truth.
but the truth shall set you free once you have the way to actually bake the cake.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I hope it sets
because
me free. I hope it sets me free.
yeah, come and do
Um.
it. There's a 20, there's the split on, and the funny thing
Okay.
is, Advanced Grow this month touches on this practical financial fitness around practical investing points
Mm-hmm.
like dividend investing that
Mm-hmm.
I'll be touching on that one too. But just come on the beginner grow and you will more than
Beginner
get,
grow.
especially on this. Yeah,
Okay.
man, beginner grow. Trust me, it's beginner only name. As I said, if
Okay.
when you're done, you thought it wasn't worth it, tell me, I'll give you back all your money. But
All right.
but
This
All right.
convo also fire that we've been bouncing around is beginner grow. Like
Okay.
yeah,
for
it's
sure.
all beginner grow,
Okay.
all beginner grow that we've been talking about.
I need financial literacy. That's okay.
No, no,
That's
no. You
okay.
have some
You know
enough,
what?
but that don't mean so you can't.
Improve on those. Improve on those for sure.
Exactly,
Improve on those.
exactly.
All right. It was a good conversation.
Indeed, it was.
I hope someone else will bring the conversation
I mean,
about
you brought a lot, so
more dividend investing. I don't know if well, Chris Berry is not on tonight. I would love to hear his
It's the start
you
of
know
dividend investing.
yeah, and because I guess those guys have been doing it for a while. I'm just trying to build mine now.
hmm
And I would like for more young people to kind of take this approach. I'm not that young, but to just kind of take this approach and see how it works out. Because as I said before, I do have two portfolios, but my
hmm
dividend portfolio is my main portfolio. And then I do have my swing trade, which is not doing so well. And I did want to share with you that for my swing trade,
Mm-hmm.
I do intend to uh, uh, average down on one, and then use that to average down on another one, and then do it and just continue until I just have one. That's my goal.
Until you
Um,
just have what, one portfolio?
no, I just want to have one stock in my swing trade.
I'm
Um,
not sure what you mean then. Average on one and then average on the next one.
okay,
How that work?
okay. So when I look at my swing trade, I want
Mm-hmm.
to start averaging down on the one that is have the least loss on it, if I may say that. So let us say one has
I think what you're doing
Oh
is
God, oh God.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
using the current picture
To
in a way that it
inform.
shouldn't be used.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
go
It
again, go
show
again. I didn't hear that.
it you're using what you're using the current picture. So you look at your portfolio,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing you just said about you average on one that's least down. What you're
Yes.
doing to yourself right there, you're just finding the one that's least down, so you're more okay buying it.
N- No,
Why is it the one that's least down that you're averaging on, and not the one that's
because
most down?
because I'm thinking that I'll be able to recover from that one easier, because when I average down, let us say if tomorrow
That's
it moves up,
counterintuitive.
it is,
It can work out that way, you know.
it is. I
But then
don't think it is
you
though,
also
because
it can work out that way. But then you have to
mhm,
look at timelines, and you have to look at you're looking at the stock from which one going to move first, which one going to move. So you're
yes,
supposed to average on the one that's least down, but then it continues falling, and the one that was most down moves up to a point where if you had averaged down on it, you'd
yeah,
have been able
you're
to
right
exit
on
at
it.
profit. You have to look.
You're
You can't just look at what's least down. You have to look at
you're exactly right
what's
on it.
actually going to happen for this stock.
You're exactly right on it. And I do think that this is the one that will start moving first. I did look at that too. I did
Oh,
look at that too. I did look at that. And so I want to create a kind of snowballing effect where I use that one, average down, hopefully it comes back up. And then
and you
as
come
soon
out
as
at profit, then you
in
go to the next
profit,
one.
I
Do you actually think they'll all line up like that properly? As in, when you look at, let's say, three stocks, do you actually have a view that, okay, this one going to move, and then this one going to move, and then this one going to move? Are you actually thinking
no,
that?
no, but the one that I want to buy now is the one that I think will move first.
Okay.
And so that is my approach. That is my approach that I want to take, because I need to come out of this five. Is it five I have over there? Maybe five I have over there. I
Hmm.
just want to keep one, and I know the one I want to keep for sure.
So why not just sell everything and buy that one?
No, I'm not,
Why?
because I'm not losing my money.
You
That's the
already
bottom
lost the
line.
money.
You've already lost your money.
Bottom line.
I think when they say, you know exactly what I was going to say, right?
I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. That's why I responded in that way. But for
That
sure,
was an
and
honest response, by the way. That was
it
an
is,
honest response.
it
Honest,
is,
honest.
it is,
Yeah.
it is, it is.
Meaning,
That
meaning, meaning you have already lost your money.
I
And a
know,
part of you knows that you've already lost your money. What you're
Well,
really saying
I
is,
know that.
I don't want to admit to myself that I've lost this money.
No, I know that I've lost it. I know. As I said before, Alain came on first, and he mentioned, three things that he can do, and
Hmm.
I've had those three things too in mind, two of three, and is added a third one, and
Just
I
make
do
sure they're
know.
all going to go up. That's what you're saying to me right now, basically. You have to make sure that they're all going to go up, and they're going to buy into that one with big day. And then
You
it would
know,
make sense if that one was the last one. This is one that's going to move a lot. You have a lot to work on there. So instead of
no,
just,
the one that I'm going to move for last is the one that I'm keeping.
I know, man. And
Yes,
do you think it's going to be the one that's going to move the latest? Meaning go to profit latest?
Boy, this cap gains
Y-
conversation is very funny. Like, why?
Eh,
Yeah, you're the master orchestrator there.
you know what? You know what? It's been a good conversation,
It
because
has, it has.
at this point, I cannot answer that question
I
honestly.
think,
So,
but well, honestly,
so
I
at this
can't feel
point,
that thing.
honestly, and I always try to speak the truth, man. But that's okay.
That's cool, man. Well, I would say you have time. Work on it. Think about it.
I do have
Yeah,
time.
man.
I do have time, and And the good thing about it is that I'm not living there now. I don't really need the money right now. And so I do have some time to play. That's why I'm joking about it. But for other people who may not be in this position, they may need to do something different and something sooner than I need to do.
Mm.
Yeah.
But all right. Thank you so much for the conversation. I'll speak to you
Thank
guys
you. No,
again for
thank you
sure.
for the
Thank you,
conversation.
Thompson.
We
Yeah, like I
appreciate
said,
it. We
please,
enjoyed it.
yeah,
Great. Have
come
a
to the
good night.
next night. Come to the next
All
pro,
right,
like I
Thompson.
say,
It's
you have
good to
a
hear from you.
guarantee.
Great. Oh,
All
what
right.
was it?
Well done, that's one thing I hope never changes for the market. I hope that conversations like this keep happening, and
Yeah.
it's not just here all over. It's a sort of conversation that needs to happen because, funny enough, the things that Thompson started out saying, I can't think of anywhere else she would say it, and it would have been questioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yes.
wouldn't have been questioned. It would have just been taken immediately, and yeah, man, of course, and yeah, yeah. If you care about retail investors, if you are a retail investor, you should also care about those conversations because a space where your investment ideas won't be challenged is not a good place for you to make investment decisions from,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, I'll put it that way. So I hope you come to grow. I hope you guys come to grow. If you don't, if this don't make sense, if you think you're above it, it don't make sense for you. Good luck in the market regardless. But if you do think it makes sense for you, evermickle.com/GRWR. The worst can happen is that you learn something new, and I can assure you, you will learn a whole lot from this. I hope this sort of thinking, yeah, extends itself across the market, as I said. Uh yeah, it's good. I love that. I hope that we have more dividend conversations like that. Uh, Mismatch priorities, Danai. That's one of the things that I had as the things that will stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had something else and I rubbed it out and I decided and I wrote it as mismatch priorities instead. Meaning it's like the an IPO. It's like what makes an IPO good.
Mm-hmm.
The broker thinking an IPO is good is for a reason that's different from how the company who's getting the funds thinks of the IPO as being good, which is different from how the investor thinks that the investor, you and me, the retail investor, thinks that the IPO is good, right? And that's mismatch priorities because all three of those parties can have a voice and oftentimes
Mm-hmm.
do have a voice. And for retail investors, it's a good paradox. When a broker says, "Oh, this IPO is good," what do they mean?
We raise enough
Right?
money and collect no fees.
Exactly. When a company that is doing the IPO, when it lists and it says, "Oh, our IPO was good," what do they mean? That's
We
something
got the
that we
money.
should know. Yeah. Like I remember laughing about dollar and how they by the time the market got to the point of where we are with dollar at IPO, think of all the things that they spoke about the IPO being good. Like what was the reason that they gave for it
Mm-hmm.
being good? They spoke about how oversubscribed it was, right? At the level of oversubscription is what determines how good an IPO is. When really and truly, it's not like if the IPO is for $300 and you get the three and you get $1,000, so it's more than three times oversubscribed. The company is still only going to get the $300 that they asked for.
Yep.
So it's not necessarily good based on
Good
that.
for
So the
the goose, but
mismatch
again,
priority,
that's that eat. It's good for the goose, but again, they're hungry.
exactly. That is going to continue to happen, right? Everybody's going to keep speaking from their perspective, and very few might be telling you that they're speaking from only their perspective. And it's very
Mhm.
important for you to note what perspective they're speaking from to see how closely it matches your
Mhm.
perspective. So that I think is something that will continue. That's one of the things that will stay the same in the industry going forward because people are always going to speak from their perspectives, right? And they're always
Mhm.
going to sell it. sell things in a way that works best for them. And as retail investors, we should not expect that there's anybody who's going to tell you that it's not necessarily working best for you outside of your
Advisor.
your advisor, your advisor who has a fiduciary duty to tell you things like that. And if they don't, then I mean, well, the truth is, if they don't, what happens? Then I don't think anything happens.
Not a thing.
I don't think
Lack
the
of
market has gotten to the
consequence.
point yet where that stuff is asked
I mean,
for. Or,
advisor target still up on the fees. So
that's true. Versus the accomplishment.
Mhm.
That's true. So link Danhai. His fee is a flat fee, and he has the time and space to do it for you. Lopa, you were saying something just now?
No, I just jumping in like a lack of
No, he was always
accountability.
saying he was also saying to link that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
No
Lopa,
doubt
since
about.
you jumped on, what the road ahead for the market? What do you think what do you think are some of the things that are
You
going
know,
to stay the same, and also the things that are gonna change?
you know, the I thought the road ahead. I mean, I know he didn't have a prize for guessing the art, but I thought this was going to be like at least you guys was going to touch on TJ. We did with the dividend conversation for sure, but I thought it was a play on TA trying to make a little run.
Oh,
And
oh, that's funny.
So he did buy someone.
That's funny. That is funny. The road ahead in
uh,
Jamaica, right? That is
actually,
very,
no,
very funny.
I don't actually own any Jamaica, but I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun way to look at it, and not stopping me from changing that though. I, don't- I'm not looking at the price as too high currently. Um,
One interesting thing since you mentioned it, I didn't. You notice it, Danai? Both Trans Jamaica, JMD, and USD have grown.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, very, very, very interesting.
What do you think
very
it is?
almost at the same. If I use analysis, look at analysis too, I was at like the same rate.
Yeah,
Um, like that's legit.
very much at the same rate. Um, I don't think that's the legit. I don't think that's accidental.
Me neither.
Yeah, it looks like the usual insider rise to me.
Mm,
Look at the volumes. Look at the volumes and the trades.
29%, 29% for USD since
And
the
some
start of the
recommendations
year.
been flying out for it recently too. So
Really?
yeah, man.
Hmm. Why do you think that is?
24% for JMD. It's crazy.
I think the NTB guy's been saying, yeah, man, it's a buy.
That they've always been saying that. That don't mean anything.
Yeah, man. How often them send out things? Every now and then NTB send me things. And as I
You've
open
been
my thing
getting
there,
things. Hold on. You've been getting
I
things
don't
like
have an NTB account, but I'm getting NTB's equity analysis for March 2023. Chance Jamaica.
really. You get real estate fund and loans.
Hmm. It looks insider to me. So my assumption is my assumption is hmm, did they bought that company yet? They bought out their other arm already?
Operating company, I think they did,
Yeah.
and they're also looking at the next step now, or the highway, the next leg that they have first right on.
They said that they actually exercised the right of first refusal, right?
Same thing. Yeah. In fact,
They
let me
probably
just
need
read the
money.
analysis.
They probably need money.
Yeah.
So they're so widely held, they're almost certainly going to okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's obvious that it's obvious to me at least that there's something is known in some quarters. I suspect. I have no proof for this other than my gut. my history of the market and look at that. There's this big trade where there was a big trade
Yeah,
a couple
75 million units March 21st
right at the
or
end of March,
27th.
and then there has been strong trading in it, stronger than usual trading in it since then, since the start of the month till now.
Mm-hmm.
Strong, extremely strong trading in it compared to previously. Daily trading also,
Actually.
and higher and higher. That's very much insider. That's the usual
Watch how
footprint
somebody
of the
go, oh God,
insiders.
you're gonna be questioning on that one, bro. What mean it's
Who gonna
insider?
question me? The insiders? They know what they're doing. When I say insiders here, I don't mean people in the company. Let me be very clear on that. I do not know who's buying and selling. Let me be very, very clear on that also. But I've seen this sort of chart before. I don't think this is going to change in the future. The road ahead is filled
Where
with
is it?
this. This is part of the more things stay the same. When I started many, many, many years ago, you'd be able to see there was always a little insider rise that I could pick up. And here we are in 2023, and I'm still seeing it.
What the operating company name again?
NROC.
No, next one, man.
Isn't it NROC?
No, NRAC is government, bro.
NROC is government. The French company, is it French? I know
No.
the thing that bought. I forgot to bring up something audited.
What are you looking for? Alright.
It's in the audited.
What was it?
This is what I hope doesn't change, this level of research. JIO, that's what it is.
JIO.
JIO. I don't know why I thought NROC. You're right. NROC is government. They bought JIO, which is their which is the operating arm. The part that
When
part
did they
have
buy
all
it out? When did they buy
employees.
it? When did it happen? When did that close again?
Late 2022, a
Uh,
quarter ago, not last quarter, quarter before that, I think. Or has it not happened yet?
so I'm clicking. Hold on.
Would have to guess it should be there.
I get in a page not found on. No, and
Let me
Acquired
go.
as of December 20.
As of December 20,
Mm-hmm.
that's a market notice that you're looking at.
I'm looking at the thing there. Right name again. The unaudited MD&A of Q4.
Q4 came with an MD&A.
Yeah. And the audited then mentions it and its subsidiary.
Recognize a one-time settlement loss of US 13.9 million on acquisition of the subsidiary. Amount is considered a settlement on pre-existing relationships between the company and the subsidiary, which is the thing that we were talking about. We mentioned long ago that they get that that the subsidiary charges them. They have to pay them they pay them a money. I say a money, like a percentage of all the tolls.
So that's now gone.
Yeah, that we got
And it's rise up in end of March. The results due May.
Yeah, the results are due in 3 weeks and 3 days, May 15th.
Interesting.
So, how likely is it that this is just a coincidence?
That nobody does not just buy it. Jamaica is a very
Accident.
hard stock to move, by the way. It's a
What
Yeah.
lot
it
of money.
is or it is not.
It takes a lot of money.
Yeah, because there are a lot of units out there.
Yep.
So you see,
And a lot of my thoughts about some of the moves into next year are going to be some of these road like Trans Jamaica like moves with a lot of money going in and a lot of things to come. So I think um and stuff like that. Maybe with time that people start researching to see what's coming for some of the big moving stocks. Even some that are no, I'll go say something too general, but yeah, I think a lot of big movements going to be happening. So if the IPO, what I'm saying, if the IPO sentiment as in certain spaces they said change in terms of what people think or how they're going to operate in operating in IPOs. That's what I see ahead. Being able to see when bigger moves are happening. Um, I feel like I'm just rambling in terms of because
I don't know what you're saying. That's the thing. I
yeah.
don't know.
I just feel like stocks that have been stalled for a while. I don't know. If I can give it like a QWI, I think there are always factors that are in play that's going to help to change its cap gains reality. Um, and with different isolated factors about what encompasses either the funds or those kind of companies that have big um, shareholdings and widespread shareholdings, I think there are things coming that would change that reality in some way, um, but have to analyze on an individual stock basis. So, like a QWI, like seeing the changes in activity in Trans Jamaica now, um, seeing growth in Wigton, like there are things that I feel like is a mark of market evolution in just where some of those bigger moving equities are going to go. So, yeah, that's the best I can summarize it without actual full, I guess, researched move up stuff.
Okay. Well, what it's funny that to me is that like he's thinking that equities are going to take on a bigger role,
Yeah.
a fuller role than what they're currently taking on.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I can't say that you're wrong. Um, I would love if equities get, how would I put it? I'd love if they get taken seriously by more players in the space. So I'll put it that way. I think there are things that will force it to get more taken more seriously, but it's gonna take some time. And until we take it seriously, as it is now, I think very few houses and just the retail is taking it seriously, and not even all of the retail, just part of the retail taking it seriously in a certain way. But keep doing it because it forces change. It is forcing change. Um, yeah, it is forcing change, and it's forcing because the retail. I will say it right now that the retail as a whole, the retail investors have greater savvy than the industry as a whole. Yeah, easily, easily. The majority of the industry has not and do not invest, and they say proudly. Uh Jon Snow, I see you on now. You can hear us.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, are you listening to us in the background? Or else whatever you have in the background is loud. You can mute it or move away from it.
Not much.
All right. Well, we will try and work with it. Then what's up? How you doing?
A good one.
All right, great. I was going to say it sounds a lot quieter now, but I just realized you just muted.
Yeah, more quiet now.
Not really, but go ahead. What's up? Let's see if we can work with it.
Yeah. I just saw something interesting today. Uh, Looking at MJ's
You know what we're
that
talking about?
no, what are you guys
Oh,
talking about?
no matter. Go ahead. Go
No, but
ahead.
I was just looking at MJ's thing today, and I saw that
What today?
this report that came out,
The results. Which results came
the
out today for
result,
them?
the first quarter, I think.
First quarter 2023 results. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I see this thing that they're now almost like 60% into SVL.
There are no 60% into SVL
Yeah, something like that. Well, their 60% of their portfolio is into SVL.
hmm
Or something like
or
that.
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I think
Which one?
MJE.
No, no, no. That's another thing. If you want to be good at this thing, especially going forward,
Yeah,
accuracy matters. Get it?
yeah,
Meaning you need to be sure of the. I mean, you don't need to be, but it only hurts you. You're correct. So they're saying that as at the end of March, SVL was 59.9, so roughly just shy of 60% of the makeup of their portfolio. Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah,
In terms of the value.
yeah, yeah.
So what?
I'm just wondering, how far will they go
With I don't know.
with with acquiring more of that
Well,
particular
it
company?
did they acquire more of it or much more of it?
I think the position of their portfolio has increased, so I'm not
Has it? Well, yeah, they said that they
like
added 54 million worth.
yeah,
Yeah, it's 59.9, but okay, but
So
he's
54
funny.
million worth of additions would not move them from
It mo-
47% up to 59.9%. So it's likely this is not talking about an addition, this is the value of it. And considering that it stocks in the portfolio which fluctuates,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
it might
Oh,
indicate
Price
fluctuation
increase and yeah, up and
yeah,
between
down all over
different
the place.
entities.
I have to work that out.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
So they didn't buy another 10% worth of the company.
okay.
Yeah, they but have to check with different things there, so but it's not exactly as you're presenting it.
Yeah, I understood.
You sure?
Yeah, man.
You
Definitely,
sure
man.
you understand?
Definitely.
All right, pop
S-
quiz.
So you understood it before?
I thought I did.
Or will you ask, why did you ask it? And what were you thinking when you asked it?
Yeah, I was just wondering if they're going to just keep increasing their stake or something, you know?
But they're not. They own 18.4. I mean, I can't say they're not, but
Mm.
this to me looks like about the level that they're always at.
Yeah, look at it.
Yeah,
The price go up more than anything else. Or the price of the change, the prices of the things in the portfolio change are.
Yeah,
yeah.
the
In
value of the
fact,
MJE.
December, as at December end, the the MJE SVL was 60.7%. No, it's 59.9.
It actually fell.
Ah,
So it's a little bit less of the portfolio than it was in December.
okay.
Yeah, so did you see that before?
No, no.
It was
All
pretty last year, same time basically, until 47 thing there. You have to look on it, man. So that big change you seen there happened sometime within last year. I think most of that big change in how much of the portfolio is
Yeah,
happened last year already.
okay.
So it wasn't really over the last quarter that you saw that big change happen for them.
So you go. Do you want? We're talking about the road ahead. You have anything you want to say about the road ahead for the market as you see it?
Uh, uh, the road ahead in terms of what, like new listings or so?
In terms of
Just
whatever you
general.
think, generally, whatever you think is on the road ahead for the market.
Well, I don't really look, I don't really know, honestly.
You don't really what?
I don't really know what to say about the road ahead for the market, but because I'm really just thinking about the road ahead for me. I know I can learn
Okay.
more and be able to, use the market better.
All right. You think there'll be more opportunities for that for you?
I hope so.
I hope so too. I hope so too. I hope there'll be more opportunities, and I hope that they'll make sense. I think after years of putting in work for it, I think that more. I know that more entities are going to start and should start like caring more about financial literacy. But again, remember, there's actually teaching it, and then there's paying lip service to it. But only you will be able to know it because the people who are paying lip service aren't going to tell you that's what they're doing. In
Yeah,
fact, some of
yeah,
them might not even know that's what they're doing.
yeah.
Yeah, but the only person who will know is you, will be able to determine it and say one way or another. All right. Well, I won't keep it unless you have anything else you wanted to say.
Yeah, not really. I just gonna listen to what going on,
All
If
right,
anything
boss.
come up,
Boss.
I'll feedback.
All right, bless up. I remember
All right, boss.
everybody.
Good for calling. Best up,
You can send a speaker request. He could be going for a little while now, so I wouldn't mind wrapping it soon. So if you definitely wanted to ask us, this might be one of your last. This is your last chance.
Last
Um,
call.
yeah. So send a speaker request if you wanted to ask or say something or ask or something or point something out. Let's hear what you think. And yeah, I see Sir Berry out there. I should ask him. Sir Berry, you don't have anything you want to tell us for the um the future of the market as you see it, especially concerning the impact that you can have on the market compared to I would say most of us, but honestly all of us. It's another thing I had in mind under that industry interest point that where
Mm-hmm.
I was considering like I'm saying at some point a couple of other houses must start taking the market seriously, right? In terms of active
Boy,
investment,
man, it works in around. I mean, yeah,
like
sure, but
active funds actively moving in the market, actively in some cases
yes, it
being
must
market
happen.
makers.
It's not a tomorrow thing, but it must happen. Yes,
I mean, how long? Because I've been
that's.
saying it must happen for a long time now, and 2023 no, still
I have a
just
feeling maybe our guys were saying the same thing back when they were doing it, back when they were just starting, and they're looking and say, "Well, I don't know." So
Still just them. QWI.
yeah, and then QWI no really sound so. Oh, then it kind of it's year to year MSCI phone, sure.
Yeah, I mean they're
The
judged on
talk
it,
where
so
I mean the benchmark, sure, but I'm not sure that they make moves like that or with that in mind. I would expect that they do, but I'm not totally sure.
let's hope. What I think will happen is that we're going to have, in the same way you have retail investors who are good and enter the industry and bring in that sort of knowledge and actual
It must have,
practical.
yeah. Somebody
Yeah,
must see it. There must be an avenue for it. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Here's hoping. I hope so. Send a speaking request if you want to talk to us. Like I said, it's the last chance for everybody. If nobody wants to say anything, we're gonna say good night. So I know it takes people about 30 seconds to hear me say that. So I will wait the 30 seconds in case anybody wants to. Danhai. So
yo, bro.
the more things change, the more they stay the same for the road ahead. Anything else that you see for the road ahead? Changing,
Anything
staying the
else?
same.
Staying the same. Staying the same. What do I see staying the same? I don't know. What do I want for the right? I mean, how much time we about shorting, right? I think that's the next step in bridging a new step of the market. I mean, I think we have a lot of the blueprint for a lot of things. We're just not really taking them seriously, as they say. I mean, we've seen for years now the brokers can do shorting, but then nobody don't really want to do it. Or it's a secret thing, not a public thing. And we're gonna wait until the JSC bring it for certain things. But that's also another
Mm.
thing. That's another part of the market that's just not retail facing. That's not retail, not catered to from the retail side. When it could have.
Mm. I think things that will stay this same for so long, I don't know that they will
Yeah,
almost like
I,
they'll
I really
eventually
think I
change,
think
but they're gonna.
out of what I want to see will just really have to come from the space taking itself more seriously, or the industry taking that side of the space more seriously and caring about it, thinking it actually matters, not just from a perspective of where the fees are, but from yo, I can actually invest in these companies, or we care about people investing in these companies and getting certain level of returns from them, certain things from them.
Or just
Active, and they don't lose from that at all.
or
Like
just seeing it as a real thing.
yeah, but that is a line that caused all the other developed markets to be where they are.
Yeah.
They didn't walk up and be where they are now. If you check it, and we talk about I mean, you talk about how far back the thing that goes, the equity market goes. When you think about
Hmm.
America, how America was built when
Before
no,
America too, yeah.
hmm?
Before America, but yeah,
Before
yeah,
I think
yeah.
about America just because one, it's a good recent example of seeing. I mean, it's where they are now, as they're the big name or whatever. We have a good picture of where they started, what that start looked like, and then what that start was after the market turned on. After when the banks got into buying companies, we're actually investment banking. We're doing that when that became a thing. It was no the same thing with Barbo, access to capital. That was
Yeah.
before listings, we were on the same. So the so part they had then of we have to borrow the money from the bank. If we borrow the money from this guy we know, or this person we know have to be a rich guy, I'm gonna invest, or we just kind of flat on our face. Before that, we're at that point with borrowing, but we have the same problems. We have the market in front of us, we have the lead on it because we know what these kind of things do. We just need players in the space to actually see that and say, yo, okay, this is what this can be, this is what the industry can be if we
Hmm.
just approach from that angle.
Mm.
And it will take a lot of actual caring, a lot more skin in the game, a lot more like what GK doing. We're actually investing in these companies, so bringing it to market is a secondary thing. Kind of makes sense for my investment and for what I can do for my investment. More of that. Maybe I do it for years. They actually invest in the company. That kind of thing. Putting skin in the game, putting the actual, I care about the market. I care about shares. I care about my benefit from them. Share prices matter because a lot of things tied to that. Bring more of those in, then we can have the market growing in certain ways. Without that, then Because it's the same problem we have now. Only these players care about the market from that angle.
I think when I saying care about the market also, I'm thinking from the perspective of like I hear brokers. Right? I didn't want to say because then they'll identify which broker and the feelings go. But when you hear brokers giving up guaranteed money, and you can tell it's either like they don't understand, they must not understand because why would you say like why would you do something that stops your own money?
Mm-hmm.
When you hear brokers, when you think about like margin, when you think about the hoops that some brokers put their clients through for margins and how they treat
Mm-hmm.
margins, think about how they treat margins.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like it's a terrible thing.
Like you feel like, okay, you tell me this is a product, but I feel like you don't want me to buy it from you.
Some of them they really don't want you to use the product.
Mm-hmm.
I use the product. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. They don't. There is still a lot of money being left on the table,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just that they don't care about the money. But it's a
Mm-hmm.
closed circle, so they don't allow anybody else in who will also care. But I think the circle can't stay closed long enough. I think competition will force people in the circle to take it a certain way, and then the circle are very innovative, But once somebody do it, they'll look at it and they'll follow it. They'll follow
Resource
the
game.
faster horse. Yeah, man, they'll follow the
Mm-hmm.
faster horse. So I, but they can stay stagnant for a long time and ignore what it funds. And
Yeah.
they can also speak badly about. That's another thing I think won't change. They'll speak badly about actual market innovation. If you do something that's good but just simply not done before or not understood, it's looked on from the industry side as bad.
Think about listed equity funds. Mayberry did it. Oh my God, why are we doing this? The talk around the town was why doing MJE or why did you need to do that? It was what it is. That's what it
Mm,
is. Take it as that. No, I get vexed to it and for all of the guys in these houses. It was how they was telling you how bad it's going to be, how bad of a thing it is, and then everybody else do it.
mm.
It was then fine.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I think the
And
future
yeah,
is bright for retail investors. I'll say that. I think the future is bright for retail investors, and one thing that I think is bad and probably shouldn't be like this, but is good for retail investors is the fact that the industry still doesn't take the market seriously. So retail investors have outsized power. You're able to get and take positions in companies that pensions with any sense should never allow that to happen.
Mhm.
Funds with any sense should never allow that to happen. Uh, Houses with any sense should never allow that to happen. And it's not that it shouldn't happen, but it shouldn't happen because the host would have bought it up so that you can buy it up. But that don't happen. They don't look at the industry as good or real. So
Mhm.
as a retail investor, you are still benefiting from the fact that the powers that be don't realize the power
And
of the
it's
stock market.
interesting that the way they talk about it ahead of time, meaning they talk about the value of certain things that
Hmm.
matter in market that matters in a market that they are not doing this the next step off. So the pension's not buying certain points. The pension's not looking at dividend yields as attractive over say X at the time, unless it's a certain company, that kind of thing. There's no activism in terms of we buy and we try to we try to push for this deal because this can grow this way. We can actually bring some change to the company, bring some more money out of these things.
Hmm.
But then the talk is always at that level. I'm not going to buy this company because the multiples say X, Y, Z. I won't talk about it as a future thing. I'll talk as if I've been priced out of it already. When
Mm.
you're the guys that price out people, you're the guys that take position because, and it just makes sense for you. You're a long term player, and we you have advantage. You're talking like you're in for it. You're talking about the Jamaican market as if you're a broker in America and you're doing the things the brokers in America do. You get me? When you're not really
Yeah.
doing that, and so it's not matching.
I say sometimes they do, or sometimes they can. So like, I'm not saying that this is what's happening, but it's the right setup to explain the theory.
Mm-hmm.
Like this move in Jamaica, whoever bought the 75 million shares at 140, it may very well have been worth it for them to spend again later on. Probably not the same level of cash,
Mm-hmm.
right? It might very well have been worth it later on. That's the 27th where they would have spent it's on the 27th where they would have spent Monday the 27th of March. They would have spent, what is that? My brain tired and I'm forgetting where to look. And it was bought, yeah, there was in one big block. So they bought it about 140. $1.40 is what they bought the whole block for. And so they spent a significant amount of money, near 100 million. It might be worth it for them later. They may have realized that it's worth it for them to spend small amounts later on at the higher prices because it causes the entire amount to be worth a lot more, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like fund 101 stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which I would love if there were multiple players in the space taking it seriously. Look at last March. Look at what happened on March, near the end of March, during the same time here, where we saw what would appear to be the impact of many of those funds that are mark to market or have heavy holdings that require that impact their results. And so you see an end of quarter rise in a lot of them because my assumption is that the fund managers would have taken stronger positions going into the end of the quarter to ensure that the value of the fund on the books would not be at a certain level or the value of certain holdings, blah, 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 right? I want some more of that in the market because guess what? They're going to all have different quarters. Some of them going to have different quarters. Um, and some of them going to have different priorities and different timelines and things that happen. And some of them going to do different things. And before you know it, you have a vibrant market from the same boring people. Uh, that's what I'm hoping to see. And I think it will happen, but I don't think it's going to come from the industry first. I think what's happening is that you're getting the rise of the retail even more. Retail power is growing even more. And the tip of the retail, the sharpest edge of the retail, that's furthest ahead of the curve, that edge is putting themselves in position so that pretty soon, I guess maybe there won't be retail. Who knows?
That's how it starts.
Who knows? But the change is coming, but that might change might be a lot slower than it is. Shorting, I would love to see, but I don't know when we'll ever see that boy. That's going to
Yes.
require one broker to step out and be braver than everybody else. And let's be serious. Mm, yeah. But you don't even need shorting to have an exciting market. The market
Oh no,
continues to be
definitely.
exciting. Yeah. All right. I don't see anybody else in a speaker request, and I am feeling the sickness coming on more. So I am going to call time on this. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you, Danhai, for doing this for me. Thank you
What's
guys
up,
for
bro?
listening in. Hope you enjoyed this week's Brick Talk, and hopefully you'll be here and we'll do next week's on. And yeah, it's another one. Looking at the road ahead. Sorry, I don't have an exciting end for everybody. I really feeling sick as time goes by. So thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out Danhai at D Hall Advisory. Check out Grow at everymaker.com/GRWR. Get discounts to either from doing either. And yeah, it's another Brick Talk. The road ahead. Have a
All right.
good week to come.
All right, people. Bless up. Enjoy the weekend.